Here we go.
He's
Oh goodness!
annoying.
Shut up,
Here we go.
you niggas.
Listen. So let me get all of my notes in order.
Mhm.
I don't really got much. Uh,
I mean, it was only a half hour, so.
that's true. Mhm.
Oh god. Kaboom!
All right, I'm good. I'm good.
Bang bang.
Just
up,
like
McKenna?
that. What up, McKenna?
Good morning.
Ooh, oh shit. Let me do the do.
Hey, what's up, Biddy?
Biddy.
Hailing from Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're Tim International. You ain't know that?
Shoosh.
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to show you. I was about to show you this clip that a fan sent to me. I'm glad I didn't show it before you said that. I'm glad you didn't.
International.
This wasn't
too.
international though, but this is just cross
Hey,
country and shit.
it don't
But,
matter.
But
Yo.
you are international,
I
so
they like me in Helsinki, Finland,
Clearly.
for whatever
Right.
reason. Yo, I don't
I
know.
did watch that last week. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been looking for any reason why all of a sudden that song will be relevant to those people there.
I told you.
I was about to say James did it.
Ass. He's ass. Both of you. Ass. Both of you.
Am I just asked by association now?
Oh no. See,
No.
originally, yes. No. Absolutely not.
No, this earned, nigga.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I am very well behaved.
Oh, okay.
That's definitely said by somebody that's ass. Like, listen, the denial is strong with those that are ass for.
Bruh, facts.
It is. It just is. Oh man. So, you want to wait a little bit so you get more people in
No,
there?
I just wanted to make sure I got all the topics.
Okay.
All right, yeah, I'm good.
All right. Let me start this intro. Me.
You.
I love it.
Welcome everyone to the Black Culture Geek Podcast. This is my man SPJ
You.
and my sister Chrissy.
Hey.
And I am Tombstone the Dead Man. And we are just a few geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective. Facts indeed. We got some stuff to talk about today. I personally do not know what is on the news list.
It's a lot.
I don't know
God.
what's on
One,
the news
two,
list.
3, 4,
But we
5,
do
6
have
topics.
it's like 6 topics. But
And I ain't got no clue.
but we do have an overall topic that we want to talk about or cover after the news. So you guys stay tuned for that. Also, it has somebody reminded me the other day that sometimes you got to get the promo in early. So just remember that there's always music.
Oh, always.
There's always music. You
Always.
can always go to iTunes, go to Spotify, go to wherever you like to stream music, and you'll find all of our music right there. Go listen to it, add it to a playlist. Even those outside of Helsinki, Finland, like you can
Right,
you can all go and do the same thing. Don't let them beat y'all. Like
I gotta find my next target location.
hey, shut up.
For the
His new account.
Stream farm. Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, my
Also,
bad.
for those who weren't informed or don't know, we have the Majestic Kickstarter for issue 2 coming up in October, tentatively scheduled for to start October 6th. You can go to the Patreon. I'm gonna put the link in the description. You can go to the Patreon, Kickstarter, and click on the notify me when launch button. That helps us a lot, because everything has algorithms
Everything
now.
quick, yeah. So if it's quick, if it happens as soon as,
Yeah,
that
you know what I'm
jump.
saying? Yeah, that jump start really does a lot to get attention to it, because every website has algorithms now, and Kickstarter is no different than that. So I'm gonna put this in the chat. Here's the link. Click on that. Can't wait for you guys to read the issue that's
What up, sis?
about to come out. What up, sis? And also the one that's coming after that, although the odds are that one won't be ready until February, but that's because of the holidays and all that other shit. But that's roughly around the same time as this one in comparison to the distance between the Kickstarter to fulfillment. So yeah, we about to do that. Plus, y'all know I'm getting the fuck up out of here for a week in December and going down Panama. So that's the thing. But anyway, oh yeah, I can't wait. I just want to go to the mall down there. They still got mall culture in Panama. No, back in the 80s and 90s, used to be mall culture. They still have mall culture, and like they got the second largest one in the Western Hemisphere down there, Albrook Mall. I'm trying to go in there. I'm trying to see what's up.
What's your audio, Mike? Oh, never mind.
What you talking about? Huh? What happened? What do you mean? I can't hear you.
It's fixed.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah. Already.
Absolutely. But yeah, just remember also go check out my man Jaded Nerd channel. Go check out Metas and Mutants with my man Super Side Guy.
Special episode still coming. I'm prepared for this. I got a doc. The doc has bullet points for each. It has a 100-word description for each, and it has a 500-word
Yo, you are ridiculous.
I am prepared, nigga.
You are ridiculous.
I am approaching this as if it's a debate, and it's not. It's not going to be a debate. It's not even a debate. I am approaching this as if it's a debate.
So noted. I was noted. I was told thusly. So you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, that's what's up. And also, do not forget to check out Heard It Through the Grapevine, Chris's podcast as well. And yes, I'm going to be running the same list down at the end of the show because you got to get it in.
Absolutely.
You got to get it in.
All right. Topic 1 is actually, funny enough, I have not had to get rid of this banner because every week there's something new. So I still am not going to go as far as to say that this is 100% false or 100% true.
Exactly.
But there appears to be an update.
Okay.
Actually, first let me give the stupid update for the idiots out here that don't understand how evidence and facts work. Because the first one was NBC did an article on her, with her.
Yes.
And people were saying, NBC confirmed it. No. If you read the article, it does not confirm anything. The only definitive language are quotes from her.
Right.
So that's not proof of anything.
Yo, I gotta say, man, y'all really get on my nerve. This proof and evidence thing,
bruh,
be fucking y'all up.
They be kicking their ass,
bruh. The response to people, because you know people came out with NBC blah blah blah, and people like, no, that article didn't prove anything, and the response was, you think that these respected journalists would. But they didn't. They didn't do what you're claiming they did. They didn't make any fact claims.
And guess what? Nobody else made a claim that they did that.
Right.
You just didn't read the article.
Well, or you don't understand.
Or you don't understand it.
Work.
Well, yeah.
But on a more serious note, there does appear to be a suspect.
Yes.
There does appear to be a suspect now, and here's the thing that a lot of people are missing. I don't even know if it's missing. I don't know, because you can never tell what pops up in another person's algorithm, right?
Right.
So that's why I haven't been super harsh on the people, because it's like a lot of the people that are getting frustrated in defending her, they are citing the more ridiculous people that were attacking her.
Yep.
So it's like, I'm not going to go hard on y'all because y'all are absolutely right about that.
Exactly.
Part.
And I'm not defending them. I'm not defending them.
Yeah, these people's out here wilding, talking about, she deserved this because this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, we not doing that. What I simply said is, from what the evidence that I had put in front of me, it just didn't add up.
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah, it just didn't add up. Now it's starting to add up more.
Right.
Because apparently there is a person, a name was given, a description was given. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're working with something.
Right.
But every piece of proof before that point wasn't proof that the story happened the way she said it. There was proof that she experienced trauma to her face.
Yes.
Absolutely. But anybody could have done that.
Right.
But now that there's a suspect in the description and all that other good stuff.
Right.
All right, cool. Apparently this dumbass nigga, apparently, because I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the video that I saw that referenced it. Said they couldn't find the actual episode either. Apparently this nigga went on somebody's podcast bragging about doing it.
What is wrong with people?
Well,
Tory Lanez.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, what's wrong with him is the same thing that's wrong with the people that went hard without evidence. It's the same. It's the same disease. It's the same disease.
And it's like, yo, seriously, like,
seriously,
you had all these people. Listen, just hear me out. You got all these people saying that this thing never happened.
Right.
Why would you then go out like in the grand scheme of things? I appreciate you.
Yes.
Right.
In the grand scheme
we
of
need
things,
to get you out the street, nigga.
Right. Justice needs to be served. But why the fuck would you go on somebody's podcast bragging about what?
How stupid.
In what world does that even make sense to be a thing to do? Like I'm really upset now. But anyway, so it is leaning toward it being again. There's the way that it happened. We still don't know.
Right.
But there's actual evidence now that it did. Well, a version of
something
that story.
happened.
Yes, a version of that story.
And I will even go further and say, if she didn't attack him first, if she didn't do nothing, he did it, nigga, you wrong. That's don't want to
wrong,
nigga.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
No.
No
But hey, there's no excuse for hitting a woman in the head with a brick. Right. She had to have been beating your ass to it for an inch of your life,
or had a gun, and you
something.
Went, this is my final chance.
Right,
like something.
That's the only way.
There's no excuse. Like there's no excuse. No.
B. I also want to push back real quick because I've said it. I've said it's there's evidence that there is truth to a version of the story. Right. I want to clear that up before I say what I'm about to say. These dumbass motherfuckers. I can't stand, because proof and evidence mean something.
They actually mean something.
They mean something. So the people that are like, oh, you see she's a, what'd she say? Oh, she graduated such and such from such and such place, and y'all out here saying she a fraud. You know how many successful people scam people?
Nigga,
right.
Nigga.
That's not evidence or proof of anything.
So somebody is legitimately making the statement.
If we didn't have such a pet show, I would play the video right now.
Some fucking educational background that she wouldn't do that. When I just saw yesterday, Senator Bob Menendez get indicted on 3 counts of bribery, him and his wife. He had $400,000 stuffed in his pants, stuffed in his pockets, stuffed in his sleeves, stuffed up under his straw hat, and gold bars in his house.
Right. Literally.
You don't think he has an education? Y'all are... I really have to get away from that. I really have to get away from y'all, man.
Yes, it's the story with the woman that was allegedly attacked by with a brick by a guy who didn't who asked for a number and she didn't give it to him.
I wonder if he recounted that.
I don't know, because again,
right? What was his story on the podcast?
Nobody can find, bro. A lot of this shit be real shit.
It's just a lot of back and forth with it, and I don't like that. But I do like the fact that there's a name in the description now.
Right.
So
right.
And I like the fact that he's dumb.
Well,
He's
yeah,
obviously
nigga, that's helpful.
dumb.
That's
Because
very
if you-
helpful.
Yeah,
Because that
you
might
ain't
be
talking
why
about-
you can't find the podcast. They
Yeah,
might have
facts.
got that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Them boys might have got
Facts.
that shit.
Thanks. They might have subpoenaed and got that shit.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't gonna be played nowhere anymore. They
Right.
took that.
So I am very happy that he's the idiot that he is.
Yes.
Because something happened.
Yeah.
Now
We have to be able to acknowledge that something happened.
yeah, 100%.
There's a medical report, and now
Yeah.
there's a guy.
Right. Something fucking happened.
And
So,
obviously his face wasn't fucked up. So
nah.
we haven't heard anything about any injuries on his ass. Right?
Right.
Unless
So
maybe
there's
he's a
no
Batman
reason.
podcast episode.
He could have
that we
cracked
can't
his
find.
fingernail with the brick when he flipped. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But he don't have nothing else. So
No,
Right.
I don't got shit else. All right. Let me get. I'm gonna get all the quick stuff out of the way first. Here's. I don't really want to get into the whole thing. Here's really what I want to talk about, and it's something similar to the conversation we were having this morning, Tim. When these outlets
oh shit.
get a hold of a story, a lot of these new, unfortunately, black
Media.
news. I'm glad you said media because
Yeah, it's not
everybody
news.
can't see me with the air quotes.
I know.
Yes, media outlets. They don't do their due diligence in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Nigga, I've heard two different outlets, both hip hop outlets. One of them, The Breakfast Club, referred to Uncle Raj's channel as 15 Seconds of Fame.
I saw that dumb ass shit.
And Hip Hop DX referred to the platform as 15 Moth Radio because in the logo,
Oh no, bro. No.
in the logo, it says 15MOF.
Bro,
Radio.
I saw DJ Academics using the footage from 15 Minutes of Fame. And this is the thing, right? And this might come as a shock to people within the culture, but hip hop, like battle culture, is smaller than you motherfuckers think.
Oh, no, facts.
As far as mainstream, sure, you have some sports figures that's into it, football players, basketball players, boxers, all that, right? But overall, it's small, and even the channels we consider big for the culture
Yeah, they're still
aren't big in comparison. There are channels out there that literally do more numbers than any of these the biggest battle rap platforms, and all they do is play Sims.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
it's not that
It's a very
big.
niche thing.
It's very
It's
niche.
a very niche thing. The one thing I am happy about is the fact that that round is being seen all
Yes.
over
Yes.
the place.
It's good for
Simply
the
because it's good for the it's good for the
Exposure.
culture. But nigga,
But
the
and
amount of inaccuracies.
yo,
and
but you know what it is? They don't give a because shit has switched from the credibility of the news organization or the media outlet to who gets what up first, because now everything's a slave to the algorithm. So this is a hot story. This is heavily searched. So we're gonna talk about this, and that leaves no time for them in their mind to do any due diligence. All they're doing is repeating what they heard somebody else said. And two, let's call a spade a spade. Ain't none of these people trained journalists.
No.
They just like you and me. We started our little media company here. We
Well, I
haven't
ain't
even
gonna
started.
say none. I ain't gonna say none. Probably some of the ones that aren't in charge.
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be true. But most of the ones you're looking at
That you see.
already, they not that. And listen, there's good news and bad news with that. So the good news with that, for those of you who don't like the gatekeeping shit,
Open market.
is there's an open market now for people who start these media companies, because we have a media company. We just haven't focused on news.
Right.
But we have a media company, right? And it's one thing to have the door wide open so that nothing bars entrance. Like some bunch of stuffy old motherfuckers up there saying, you can't do this because you don't dress like this. You don't have a haircut like that. You don't do That's cool. The part that's not cool is there's no bar on the door. These people, from all they have to have is a point of view and maybe a snappy way of delivering it, and they can say what the fuck they want, and they do.
Anything. Mm-hmm.
And they do. And
Mm-hmm.
it might be good for certain cultures, but it's not good for the overall culture.
Right.
Because now what's happened is truth has no value now.
Nope.
So all it's about is the entertainment of it all.
Especially because there are very few retractions.
Very few retractions. Because I'm gonna tell you, no motherfuckers have learned that whether you're right or you're wrong, be confident.
Yep, just keep going.
Just keep going. Suck your chest out and be like, look, I said what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And they're relying on people not doing research.
That's it.
They're not going to do it.
And that's a pretty good bet.
Just don't say anything.
That's a pretty good bet. Listen, I ran a whole channel for a few years where I discussed the whole thing about evidence and this and another. People don't give a fuck about none of that. And they don't even know how to give a fuck about it.
Nope.
Which is a failure of the school system. But they don't even know how to give a fuck about it for real.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just it's predictable but disappointing.
Yeah.
That's really
that's really, you know what, that phrase right there should be on one of our shirts. Because that's literally, if you want to sum up this whole thing, this whole experience for me, it's disappointing but predictable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's this next story. It's interesting that Chrissy's on this week.
I don't even know.
Did
something else happen?
Listen. I'm gonna just read it. We ain't gotta spend a bunch of time on it, but Lizzo facing new lawsuit from former employee alleging harassment and discrimination. Lizzo is facing another lawsuit from a former employee who alleges that the entertainer condoned a hostile work environment in which staff were subjected to harassment, discrimination, and bullying. Aisha Daniels, a wardrobe designer who worked for Lizzo's tour earlier this year, filed a new complaint Thursday in the Los Angeles Superior Court. On Thursday evening, Lizzo received the Quincy Jones Humanitarian Award from the Black Music Action Coalition. The suit names multiple people involved with the most recent tour, including Lizzo, whose given name is Melissa Jefferson, her production company, Big Girl Big Touring, Inc., and her wardrobe and tour managers, Amanda Nomura and Carlina Gugliotta. It comes on the heels of another lawsuit filed in August by three of Lizzo's former dancers who accused her of sexual harassment and fostering toxic working conditions in which they were subjected to taunts, racism, and weight shaming. Identified in the court filing as a professional clothing designer, Daniels said she was contacted in January 2023 by Nomura, who asked her to join Lizzo's 2023 tour. She was tasked with altering and repairing clothing for the tour's dancers, which she had designed in 2022, according to the lawsuit. Daniels alleges in the new suit that she endured racial and sexual harassment during her term of employment with Lizzo, as well as disability discrimination, assault, and illegal retaliatory termination, according to the complaint. The suit alleges Nomura, who was Daniels' direct supervisor, and other members of Lizzo's team established a working environment for the dancers that was set up to humiliate, degrade, alienate, and in some cases fire the black female performers. Daniels claims the dancers were forced to change with little to no privacy, and that members of Lizzo's stage crew, who were mainly white women, would lewdly gawk, sneer, and giggle while watching the dancers rush through their outfit changes. The lawsuit claims Daniels was instructed not to dress attractively in front of Lizzo and told she shouldn't interact with the entertainer or her boyfriend. Daniels alleges that in a group chat with more than 30 members of Lizzo's tour team, the backstage manager sent a photo graphically depicting male genitalia, which other management personnel found to be comical. Daniels claims that throughout her employment, she was routinely forced to work 20-hour days, frequently denied breaks, and in one instance, denied medical care while suffering an allergic reaction during the tour. Wow. She allegedly heard racist and fatphobic comments from Nomura, who allegedly called black women involved with the tour dumb, useless, and fat, and used threatening language in interactions with the employees whom she supervised. In one alleged incident, Daniels says Nomura rolled a clothing rack over her foot while they were moving it together. Nomura allegedly dismissed Daniels' request to sit down as her foot was in serious pain. After the incident, and instead proceeded to shove the plaintiff into the rack of clothing while asserting the plaintiff should not make excuses about her foot and must help Nomura transport the clothing. According to the complaint, Daniels then lost her balance and rolled her ankle, the lawsuit alleges. When Daniels later came to work wearing Crocs, which minimized the pain, Nomura allegedly forced her to change into tennis shoes, the lawsuit says, so that she could move more heavy cases while injured. Daniels was eventually fired, and in the wake of her termination, experienced anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, migraines, ocular distortions, brain fog, and fatigue, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit says Daniels believes the experiences of degradation, forced physical labor, denial of medical care, sexual harassment, and racial harassment were allowed to take place by Lizzo's management without consequence because she is a black woman.
So, and this is, if any of this is true, and I have no reason to doubt it, but
This one's 45 pages.
Hmm.
This is why I've always argued that just because you are in charge of some shit at a job, that does not mean that you are not going to be held accountable for the shit you say to me. Because, see,
Correct.
in here, you got stroke. Out there in that parking lot,
yeah, it's a little different.
We the same, motherfucker. So after this is over, I'm gonna let you get it off. But out there, though, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's the reason why when I used to be in charge of about maybe 40 people in a entire crew of sanitation workers. I'm not a little guy, and I ain't scared of none of these niggas. But I have a healthy respect for the next person.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in there giving them instruction, even when they doing something they had no business doing, I don't talk to them like I want smoke with them. Do I get stern? Yes. It's part of the job. But there's a difference between talking sternly to an employee and talking like you want smoke. All right?
Yo.
Saying?
Yo. I just looked at some of these allegations.
Yikes.
On several occasions, Nomura made statements and or took physical actions to threaten the plaintiff and the entire crew. She threatened plaintiff and others that she would kill a bitch and stab a bitch when she could not find her medication. She shoved a crew member in retaliation for revealing she was threatening to quit. She snatched food out of a local worker's hand for merely attempting to take an assigned break. She expressed that she would kill a bitch if it came down to it, if anyone threatened her job.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
Lizzo's management was well aware of this pattern of behavior. Defendant even requested plaintiff to record Nomura without her knowledge, which plaintiff did not do as it was both unethical and possibly unlawful.
That's unethical, but what she's doing wasn't.
Okay. Listen, it's a bunch of.
And that's another thing. When you're in charge of somebody, even if you don't particularly do the thing,
right,
you have to watch out for your people.
That's a fact.
Bruh.
If you a CEO somewhere and some shit is going down underneath you, it's your responsibility at the end of the day to take care of it.
Like I've literally told assistants that I've had. There's only one that I didn't really have to tell that to, and that was my man Bucky. But the other assistants that I had to tell them, yo, don't be disrespecting my staff.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm going to back you. Right, I'm going to back you when you write.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure they give you your deference as somebody that is in charge of some shit. Because I need to go on a vacation every now and then, and we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But don't be disrespecting my staff.
Right.
Period.
Yo, toxic work environment continued without change. Lizzo's team ultimately fired plaintiff without notice or reason. Plaintiff was later informed by Gugliotta that everyone knows Nomura is crazy. Gugliotta apologized to plaintiff several times and acknowledged that although management was aware of Nomura's behavior, she would be too hard to replace, and Nomura wanted the plaintiff gone for speaking up. Throughout the tour, plaintiff received positive feedback for her designs and other work from performers, local crews, Gugliotta, and even Nomura herself. In fact, the Big Girls and tour musicians requested a meeting with management to dispute plaintiff's firing, and their request was denied. Plaintiff was abruptly fired before her contract was set to end and put on a flight home. Earlier on the day plaintiff was fired, she suffered an allergic reaction that she notified both Nomura and Lizzo's management about. Plaintiff was denied medical care, was yelled at for taking time to even look for medicine, and was pressured by Nomura to keep working or be sent home. Despite the industry standard to have a medical team available at least by phone, no medical attention was ever provided.
And I'm mad too because her name is Nomura, and that's literally what we was calling Aquaman when he swam across. Yo, that shit is horrible, B.
That's a lot, bro.
It's just horrible. And this is the thing. Even if you're a fan of Lizzo's work and the things she has presented herself as standing for, yo, if you are a worker yourself, you can't ride with that.
Right.
You can't ride with that because we have a conversation all the time about work culture here in the United States and about how it needs to be changed, it needs to be altered, it needs that because currently and probably for the last few decades, it has solely almost been to the advantage of the employer and not the employee, even down to tax benefits. Like it's trash, right?
It is.
So if you are a worker too, I don't care if you're a fan of you can't rock with that.
It's right and wrong regardless. So.
Yeah,
pretty much. At the end of the day, that's really what it is, and you gotta.
And I love Lizzo music. Like I was obsessed
for
a while, but
and that didn't stop you from criticizing.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, no, not at all.
I'm not one of those fans. Oh my gosh, they can't do no wrong. Nope, there it is.
Nigga, clearly, because
it's too many things.
Where there's smoke,
there's
generally fire.
Generally, like we can't say 100%.
It ain't 100%,
but
there's generally fire, ma'am. Maybe you shouldn't be accepting a humanitarian award.
Miss ma'am.
Right. Maybe it's not time for that.
Now, and here's the thing about it. She skipped the red carpet. She got some sense.
Yeah.
She skipped the red carpet.
Well, maybe she skipped the red carpet.
Not on social media for a minute.
Questions.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
ask me no questions. I'll tell you no truths.
Like what? Like what are we talking? Anyway, moving on. So. This is an interesting one. Remember we had these episodes where we would look at Rolling Stones lists and debate them and all this stuff. And,
I remember.
And a couple times we had mentioned like this is a little off. This seemed a little. Oh, okay. All right. Rolling Stone co-founder Jan Wenner removed from Rock Hall leadership after controversial comments. Co-founder of Rolling Stone magazine has been removed from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation's board after facing widespread criticism for comments he made in a New York Times interview published Friday about female and black musicians.
Oh.
Jan Wenner has been removed from the board of
directors
the
folding chair
of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation. A representative for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation told CNN in a statement on Sunday. Wenner spoke with the Times about his upcoming book, The Masters. Let's stop really quickly.
Let that settle.
Masters?
Let that settle.
My nigga, The Masters.
Well, here's the thing. This is why, shit like this is the reason why I be ready to backhand motherfuckers like Vivek Ramaswamy and all these other motherfuckers who are kissing ass, trying to say, act like I just don't know where the racism is. See, y'all do that bullshit, but we know better. We know better.
which features interviews he conducted with artists such as John Lennon, Bob Dylan, Mick Jagger, and others while at the helm of Rolling Stone. In the interview, he spoke about his decision to not include interviews with women and black artists, and his remarks on the topic were widely criticized. And I quote, "The people had to meet a couple criteria.
Oh, shit.
But it was just kind of my personal interest and love of them." Now, here's the thing. If you would have just said, the way that I chose it was really just my personal interest and my love.
Lots of cheers.
And left it at that.
If he'd have just left it at that,
you'd have been good.
Yeah.
You'd have been golden.
Yeah.
Because you are a white man of a certain age, it is understood and expected that this would be your particular taste.
Because we expect for your age and your ethnic background that you not really dig a lot of the newer, you know what I'm saying?
But no, he continued. Insofar as the women, just none of them were as articulate enough on this intellectual level. He continued.
Hey,
Stevie Wonder, genius, right? I suppose when you use a word as broad as masters, the fault is using that word. Maybe Marvin Gaye or Curtis Mayfield. I mean, they just don't articulate at that level. For public relations' sake, maybe I should have gone and found one black and one woman artist.
Black.
To include here that didn't measure up to that same historical standard just to avert this kind of criticism. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. He's still talking.
Why wouldn't you shut up at this point?
Maybe I'm old-fashioned and I don't give a. I don't know if it's supposed to say fuck or shit because it's redacted. Maybe I don't give a shit or whatever. I wish in retrospect I could have interviewed Marvin Gaye. Maybe he'd have been the guy. Maybe Otis Redding, had he lived, would have been the guy.
Yo, stop talking.
Listen.
Wait. Through a spokesperson for the publisher of the book, he told CNN, "In my interview with the New York Times, I made comments that diminished the contributions, genius, and impact of black and women artists, and I apologize for it."
No, you don't. No, you don't. You went in. One black and one woman.
You really listen to that? He didn't really apologize.
No.
He said, "I apologize for those remarks."
Right.
Not for the sentiment.
Right. He meant this.
I apologize that I said it. I shouldn't have never said it, but
there was an action done. There was a thought behind that action, and there was an explanation of the action. You apologized for the explanation of the action.
Exactly. Not the action.
You didn't apologize for the action or the thought.
No. And again, all these people running around. I just can't find the racism. Where's the racism? Where's the structural racism? Here's the thing: when you got motherfuckers that are in positions of power to influence and shit like that, and they have these sentiments, what the fuck do you think their choices and decisions are going to be? And this goes society, systemic. Why? Basically, I don't care what field you're talking about. If you have people in there who think like that, do you really, knowing people, think that these ideas don't inform their decisions?
Absolutely.
Fucking crazy. But here's
the thing, right?
Find the racism. Where's the racism?
Yo. Because he suffered immediate consequences, I feel comfortable saying this now. I mean, we know what it really is. The reality of it is his life isn't going to change in any meaningful way.
Not one iota.
But he did suffer immediate consequences.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's all we got.
How stupid. Because here's the thing. You clearly don't care. I mean, he says it.
He doesn't give a
shit. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So like, how stupid do you have to be? Like, bruh,
Yo, I just
why
can't
would
believe
you
he talked
choose
so
to say
long.
these words? Yo, there are a myriad of different ways you could have expressed this sentiment without it being so blatantly yuck.
You know what I
Yeah,
think?
disrespectful, racist,
You know what I think is the
and
case with
wrong.
this too? Like a lot of these people have had so much privilege for so long, they've amassed huge wealth. And when those societal changes took place, those were the things that they had to cushion them from having to adapt to any of it. So they just kind of mostly stayed out of the limelight. They stayed away from microphones. It's not that they changed what they think. It's just that people wasn't asking them.
On top of that, though, you are inoculated from the culture.
Yes.
You are inoculated from everyday life.
That's right.
Because of how much money you make, the
That's
position
right.
that you have, and all that other stuff.
That's right.
So, in his day, it was socially acceptable to talk like this.
Exactly.
I mean,
yo, in his day, and by the way, for those who don't, his day wasn't 400 years ago.
No.
So y'all got to get that out of your head too.
Yeah, fuck all that.
You know what I'm saying? His day was my mom's day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and people have to understand, you can't just think that it's going to end with them because they have children.
And they influence the kids as well. And seeing everything that we've seen lately with the book bannings and all that, that's the other thing. We was talking about that media shit earlier. The reality of the situation is the way things are being done has changed. And for his case, for Rolling Stones, it's different because it's an entertainment thing. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have cultural relevancy to it that can influence. But even on the other side of that, you got these think tanks that are ran by billionaires who have an agenda, and they are funding Breitbart, all these alt-right wing news organizations are being funded by billionaires. But on the other side, to push that back, you don't see that as much.
Right.
And that's what needs to happen. If they're going to give, if PragerU is going to be given multi-millions of dollars as a startup, then all of you motherfuckers that's against what PragerU has been spewing out there need to get on the ball and start funding some of these other media things to get your ideas out here. Because I hate to say it, but the reality of the situation is we see it ain't about facts anymore, bro. Because it's about the agenda and the narrative they want to fucking push.
When it stops being about facts, at least give me an equal combatant.
That's all I'm saying. So that the ideas can actually clash, and it's not one idea that's sweeping everything else off of the board of ideas. Yeah. That's all. And the way this shit has been working. Why do you think that a lot of the laws that we've seen happening are starting to happen now? The Roe versus Wade situation took place. The affirmative action. That's because they're these billionaires, right-wing billionaires, that have put money into, well, damn, how can we get this stuff to stop? Because people like it. Well, we got to change the way people think about it.
Yeah.
If I can change the way society thinks about it, we can then do the most fucked up shit we could do, and you'll have a lot of people writing for us to do it.
Yeah. Like if you're
going to get on the ball. If that's the case, look, we're a media company. If you are a billionaire out there, listen to this show, right? And you like our take on things, we are not above.
No, not at all. We're not above taking the seed money.
No, 100% will take some seed money. 100%.
If Breitbart and PragerU and all that other shit gets pushed, push TYT, push the Young Turks, push Black Culture Key.
Right.
I'm just saying, because again, if I'm not burdened, because we do our best to do our due diligence on this show, we do. But if I'm not burdened with having to do that, and I can just say my opinion,
right,
nigga, you know how much easier that would be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. This next thing is going to be. We'll just get into it. Bussin' Buster.
Uh-oh.
What?
Busta Rhymes horrifies fans with horny antics during 50 Cent show.
Oh my.
What? Wait.
Oh my.
Busta Rhymes may be a beloved figure in hip hop, but even he isn't immune to his judgment being called into question, as his recent onstage antics have shown. The Brooklyn rap veteran has served as the energizing support act to 50 Cent's final lap tour since it began in July. And during a stop in St. Paul, Minnesota on Friday, Busta certainly had one concert goer's pulse racing with some lewd behavior. Footage of the moment, which began... I'm not playing this video. I'm just...
Right.
I just want,
Right.
footage of the moment, which began circulating this past weekend, shows the Flip Mode Squad frontman holding his microphone near his crotch as if it was an erect penis, while wearing a mischievous grin on his face. As his seductive hit, I Know What You Want, plays in the background, Busta then points to one fan in the crowd and raps, "Baby, if you give it to me," before stroking his mic with his tongue held out.
Oh my goodness.
He then says, "We fucking tonight," while pointing at the fan again.
Come on.
And says, "I see your love for me, baby." While the interaction may have been nothing more than playful, if not explicit flirting, many fans online were horrified by what they saw.
Please.
No, I'm putting this in the private chat because I'm not about to play it on the show. But
No,
you got to see this shit.
Bro,
Listen,
come on, Bus.
Maybe I just have to see it because
Nigga,
I've seen so many.
Hold up. But here's the difference.
Why? What is he?
Here's the difference, right? So, dudes will do a thing that they saw another dude doing, right? I'm talking about regular dudes. Mm-hmm. Regular dudes will do a thing that they might have seen a celebrity doing. They might have seen like a Trey Songz or Chris Brown do on stage, and they will do it to a woman. And when a woman rejects it, but Chris Brown, but Trey Songz, you ain't them.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
And
that's
that's
not
I
what
was
we
actually
see.
going to bring up Trey Songz because he had a mic. It was something very similar to that.
The difference is, how do your fans generally look at you?
Right. How do they perceive you?
Trey Songz is a sex symbol.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes is not.
Yeah.
No. Busta Rhymes is not.
I mean, I know he's not. I'm just like,
he might have 4 or 5 singles that may focus on something sexual.
Venue matters, and
right. But anyway, hold up. So somebody said, "Who got one of them little mind deleters from Men in Black?" I need these visuals deleted from my mind as soon as possible.
I don't need it.
Somebody said, "This made me uncomfortable." Creepy crawlers.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Busta Rhymes turned into Busta Nut that night.
Oh my God. Yo.
I can't wait to watch this.
Busta Rhymes, you're better than this, King. You're 51. You should be schooling the younger generation, not doing this. Imagine Hove, Nas, or Snoop doing this. Come on, Busta. See? Right there. That reaction, for you to have that reaction proves my point.
Yeah, facts.
Snoop, I wouldn't have that reaction, but it was just hearing Jay-Z, that was like...
Busta wasn't without his supporters, though, as some people defended it as purely innocent fun. I don't see why y'all bothered. This is a classic old head. We black people know how our unks get.
I don't like that. Don't do
that. I hate that shit. I hate that shit with a passion.
Don't do that.
Here, okay, so... I think it's also like, he's 51, so there's the age factor too.
I'm not tripping as much on the age.
So like when Trey Songz
Except
51,
for I do feel like that. Well, here's the thing.
When Chris Brown was 55.
I do feel like, but again,
is this what our generation gonna be doing?
But
like,
no.
The context of their career matters.
Right. This is why I said I'm not tripping so much on the age thing. This ain't
Well,
you.
Megan Thee Stallion is 55.
But again, you're talking about people that entire catalog is about explicit sex.
Yeah, facts.
That ain't Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, no. No.
Context matters, ma'am.
Yeah.
I know.
Context fucking matters.
I'm just trying to think, even with their content being what it is, like if at 55 and 60 they doing that,
You
that
might
be
find
a
it
problem.
ridiculous.
That might
That's
be
what I'm saying. You might find it ridiculous, but add on to the fact that Busta don't do this shit.
Yeah,
right.
That's
This
it.
ain't him. So for you, and it's a 50 Cent concert. So for you to be like, I'm an old school hip hop head, this is what I'm here for, and you go to this concert and you see Busta Rhymes acting like he's ejaculating his dick on stage.
Let me tell you something. This
Y'all
is
right.
a 50 Cent. Do you not know the crowd that goes to that went back in the day to a 50 Cent concert?
You know what?
And now
50 got like 7 love songs.
Y'all right, because our receptionist at work, she's 65 and she loves 50 Cent. She will play the songs on repeat, the ones that she knows, and sing all the words. So she was actually going to go to the 50 Cent concert. Her daughter found out that he was coming, and all I could think of is she would have went to that and saw that, we would have never heard the end of it.
Exactly.
I've been like, oh no, guess what he did? She had so yeah, y'all right.
I'm just saying.
I would have been laughing.
I was personally offended by the video.
Magic stick. You know what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like you not. I'm just.
I mean, he said he got the magic stick and it disappeared at the show.
So,
man.
All right, I'm done.
Okay, nigga, like, bro, this ain't no like him being in trouble, shit, nothing like that.
No,
it's just, bro, like I don't.
Gross.
You gotta read the room.
Performance was phrasing.
Facts.
Like
facts. All right.
You gotta read the room.
All right. A black student was suspended for his hairstyle.
Yep.
The school says it wasn't discrimination.
It ain't the first time.
A black high school student in Texas has served more than 2 weeks of in-school suspensions for wearing twisted dreadlocks to school. When he arrived Monday with the same hairstyle, he was suspended again, his mother said. Daryl George, a junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mont Bellevue, was initially suspended the same week his state outlawed racial discrimination based on hairstyles.
Yo.
School officials said his dreadlocks fell below his eyebrows and earlobes.
I can't find the racism.
And violated the dress code. His mother, Dorisha George, said he has to sit on a stool for 8 hours in a cubicle. She said that's very important.
My son would not be in school.
Bruh, every day he'd come home, he'd say his back hurts because he has to sit on a stool. The incident recalls debates over hair discrimination in schools and in the workplace, and it's already testing the state's newly enacted Crown Act, which took effect September 1st. The law, an acronym for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair, is intended to prohibit race-based hair discrimination and bars employers and schools from penalizing people because of hair texture or protective hairstyles, including afros, braids, dreadlocks, twists, or bantu knots. Texas is one of 24 states that have enacted a version of the Crown Act. A federal version of the Crown Act passed in the House, but was not successful in the Senate. For black people, hairstyles are more than just a fashion statement. Hair has always played an important role across the black diaspora, said Candace Matthews, National Minister of Politics for the New Black Panther Nation. Her group is not affiliated with another New Black Panther organization.
I know which one she is.
Yeah. Dreadlocks are perceived as a connection to wisdom, Matthews said. This is not a fad. This is not about getting attention. Hair is our connection to our soul, our heritage. In George's family, all the men have dreadlocks, going back generations. To them, the hairstyle has cultural and religious importance, his mother said. I think they are Caribbean, I believe.
That's even worse.
Our hair is where our strength is. That's our roots. He has his ancestors locked into
That's a bar.
his hair.
That's our roots.
Facts. He has his ancestors locked into his hair, and he knows that. Historians say braids and other hairstyles served as methods of communication across African societies, including to identify tribal affiliation or marital status, and as clues to safety and freedom for those who were captured and enslaved. After slavery was abolished, black American hair became political. Although the Civil Rights Act of 1964 banned discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, and national origin, black people continued to face professional and social stigma for not adopting grooming habits that fit white European beauty standards and norms. The issue of race-based hair discrimination in the workplace has long existed alongside concerns in public and private schools. In 2018, a white referee in New Jersey told a black high school wrestler to cut his dreadlocks or forfeit a match.
I remember that.
Viral video of the wrestler having his hair cut with scissors as the crowd watched prompted the referee's suspension and spurred passage of the state's Crown Act. Dorisha George said her son has been growing his dreadlocks for nearly 10 years, and the family never received pushback or complaints until now. When let down, his dreadlocks hang above his shoulders, but she said he has not worn his hair down since school started in mid-August. George said she couldn't understand how he violated the dress code when his hair was tied on top of his head. She says, I even had a discussion about the Crown Act with the principal and vice principal. They said the act does not cover the length of his hair. What up, Cindy? They said the act does not cover the length of his hair. Barbers Hill Independent School District prohibits male students from having hair extending below the eyebrows, earlobes, and top of t-shirt collar, according to a student handbook. Additionally, hair on all students must be clean, well-groomed, geometrical, and not an unnatural color or variation. The school does not require uniforms. The school previously clashed with another black male student over the dress code. Barbers Hill's official told a student he had to cut his dreadlocks to return to school or participate in graduation in 2020, which garnered national attention. Greg Poole, who has been the district superintendent since 2006, said the policy is legal and teaches students to conform as a sacrifice benefiting everyone. So when you are asked, wait, I gotta get this quote out. When you are asked to conform and give up something for the betterment of the whole, there is a psychological benefit. We need more teaching of sacrifice.
What?
So, before I go into what I was about to say, I would argue that the sacrifices I think black folks need to make have nothing to do with that. That's number one. Number two, the problem with all of this is that when these standards were first brought about, they were culturally influenced, and and people outside of the culture that was creating these things had no say so over what was considered this or what was considered that. So imagine if you had a head start to make all the rules in the game.
Let me make it worse. The district defends its dress code, which says its policies are meant to, quote, teach grooming and hygiene, instill discipline, prevent disruption, avoid safety hazards, and teach respect for authority.
Again, when you had the advantage, when you was not challenged to come up with all of these rules, you had nobody that was outside of a certain demographic that could do all of the rules. And you had that advantage for how many hundreds of years?
Bro.
Don't you think that at some point when society has changed and altered, and you are alleging anyway that you're being more inclusive to people and that you care about these other groups, that's what you're acting like, right? Don't you think there might be time to revisit some of those rules? Because you got a chance to make all of those things with no input from anybody else. But nope. Because what happens is they'll take their hand, put it on everybody else's forehead like that's why they're swinging, and hold them back as long as they can while they make all the rules. And then when they finally put the hand down a little bit, and the people go, hey, how about, they'll say, oh, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's a frequent tactic that's been used. And it's used in this case as well. We got to make those rules a long time ago. So it is what it is. And now when people are supposed to be more inclusive of other people and their opinions and their viewpoints into this shit, There you go. Well, we've had these rules for a long time. Why would we go? Because when you first made these rules, there was no input from anybody else.
Speaking of input, there's an update. On Tuesday, Derisha George and her attorney filed a formal complaint with the Texas Education Agency alleging that Daryl George has been harassed and mistreated by school district officials over his hair and that his in-school suspension was in violation of the Crown Act. On Wednesday, the agency notified Derisha George and her attorney that it will investigate the complaint. Later Wednesday, the Barbers Hill School District announced it has filed a lawsuit in state district court asking a judge to clarify whether its dress code restrictions limiting student hair length for boys violates the Crown Act. The lawsuit was filed in Chambers County. The quote statement from the superintendent: although we believe the new law does not govern hair length, we are asking the judicial system of Texas to interpret. Here's the problem.
Everything.
Discrimination. I wonder. So when we talk about discrimination and we talk about the forms
that it takes,
we often mention whatever medium, if you will. So there is discrimination for sexual orientation. There's discrimination for race. There's discrimination for religion. There's discrimination for blah, 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 blah. I wonder if they would have a case to say this is discrimination for gender. Because the code specifically says for male students.
Male students, right.
So that's going to be interesting.
It's going to depend on what angle their attorneys attack it at.
Right.
Because if that would be a new creative first.
Yeah.
For them to go in and use the whole angle of how come this is only affecting the males, nobody else. Only the males have to do with this. That would be a different angle, and it might be an angle they might want to try because there has grown over the last few years, decade or so, a bit of a pushback when the conversation is about women, black people, or gay people.
Yep.
So if the lawyers attack it from the angle of, hey, you discriminating against boys, it's this whole era of people running around talking about boys are discriminated against. Whole era, the whole manosphere, this, that, and the third. Attacking it from that. The only problem with attacking it from that angle, though, is that you're doing it now for the good.
Right.
But will it be used as precedent for something fucked up later because context gets removed from why they're doing it? Right. So they'll like, for instance, people will say, well, how come everybody just can't have the same opportunity? And we just say, hey, there's no need for us to point at some person's demographic or ethnic group or whatever to give them any special treatment. That's devoid of context of history. Thanks. That's, once again, if you had all of this time to have a head start and do your fucking thing and pass it down and be in control and be in charge, and then all of a sudden one day you want to say, hey, we all got the same rights, y'all. Right. You're going to act like that everybody's starting from zero at the same time? Right. They're not. No. They're not.
No, it's not a thing.
They're not.
Obviously, it's clear where I stand on this.
Yeah, you ain't in school, so I don't know.
No, look, I'm just saying.
Could have been
no, nigga, fuck that. Cause,
yo, you could have.
Yeah, when I was in high school, my hair was definitely below these things. Yeah, my hair was.
But you could be like a lot of other people who benefited from certain things, but now that you're no longer in the position where
that's facts. And I want to let everybody
a lot
know
of them
that ain't the shit I'm on. Fuck that.
You kicking the ladder after you climbed up? You kicking the ladder?
We putting an extension on that bitch. Hey, listen. Hey, you need help? Come on.
Right.
Like that
Right.
that because
Right.
fuck all that. Like the fact that I didn't have to deal with that means that I want the same or better
That's what you would think, right?
for the people behind.
Like
That's
what you
how
would
I
think.
always look at things.
That's what you would think. Like
Right.
when you hear
Yeah,
people hear,
that makes sense.
like just because I went through some fuck shit, doesn't mean I want my daughter to go through it.
No.
Right.
Or my son to go through it.
Oh, we gonna talk about some generational gangbanging a little bit later. Oh, we absolutely will. Let's get into this. Let's where we at? Let's make the main thing the main thing. All right. So
I was so annoyed.
look, shut up. You are so annoying. All right.
Both things can be true.
Both things are true. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The only reason initially why I even mentioned watching this documentary.
I already know why.
Well, not the first. The initial reason is because Chrissy. Chrissy had told me that she saw it, and that was independent of me watching it. And when I realized she was going to be on the show and that she had seen it, I'm like, all right, now let me think about it. It's relevant.
It is.
It's relevant to all three of us, actually.
For a lot of shit, yo. It is.
Right?
It is.
So, you go ahead, kick it off.
Oh God, not the smile.
As the elder statesman of the show.
So,
by the way,
first
we're
of
talking
those,
about Kirk Franklin's put out a documentary called.
yeah, I was just about to go through that.
Yeah,
that part of it because I know there are probably people that hadn't seen it.
yeah.
But Kirk Franklin put out a mini doc about 30 minutes where he talked about his experience growing up as a foster kid and not knowing who his dad was, right? And how much that affected him growing up. The fact that his mom was also somebody that was not really in his life like that. All of these things had a measurable effect on his life, even up to the time when he's an adult, right? And let me get this out the way first. Kirk Franklin annoys me.
Yes.
His behavior, his affectations.
Animated. Yeah.
It annoys me
to
no end, right? And I thought I was being punished.
But here's the thing. Right, here's the thing.
I said, what did I do?
Here's the thing. You know that there's no way that I would have asked you to watch a Kirk Franklin documentary for the show unless there was a reason.
Right, I figured as much. And the funny thing about a lot of stuff in this documentary is that you see the abstinence of older people with a lot of the shit. And that began to annoy me more than he did.
Right.
The fact that his mom wouldn't come clean even after two DNA tests about who his father was. The fact that his father didn't know all these years and his reaction to it was better than the mother.
Much better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I do have to say this, though, and this is not an attack on the father who didn't know he was a dad. He ain't know, right? But just in general, the one thing that stuck out to me about all of this is that you motherfucking guys who have the chance to be in your children's life and choose not to.
Yeah.
Walk away. Make every excuse in the world for why you can't be there. You're a piece of shit. And I'll even go further. There's been this, remember we talked about just a little bit before this whole manosphere era. That's crumbling, by the way. That shit's crumbling.
Oh, yeah.
It's crumbling. But that whole era where these people, because these people in truth did not really care about men's rights.
No.
They didn't really care about what was happening with men. A lot of these people only cared to be in opposition to what women wanted.
It wasn't pro
men. It wasn't really pro men, right?
Yeah.
And the reason you know it wasn't is because of what I'm about to say now. There was this thought amongst them about stepdads.
Yep.
Where they tried to clown people that were stepdads.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are really for men, if you are really for the protection of boys, you would be encouraging in these cases where the biological father is out of the picture for whatever reason, for somebody, some male, anyway, to take some interest into this kid and show them and guide them on how to go. Because
you can't take these niggas serious, bro.
You can't take them, because here's the thing. As somebody that grew up in a neighborhood full of boys who didn't have guidance from the right people, it's bad for society.
Yep.
These boys grow up to be dangerous to society because you ignored the trauma that they were going through by not having somebody there to just guide them in this right direction. So as much as when I was a kid, I did not appreciate my stepdad, it wasn't until I got to be a grown-ass man and a father, I saw just how important it was that this guy was here. And when I see y'all go and try to downplay that, undermine that, you're not men.
No.
You can sit up here all day long and act all puff your chest out for all this superficial stuff about manhood. Because that's all they really into. The superficial stuff, the stereotypical thing. You got to have the biggest car. You got to be doing this. You got to have all these women. That's all superficial bullshit. Superficial bullshit.
Facts.
Being a man means that you take responsibility for your community.
You step up.
You step up. And in this particular situation, even though it's a microcosm, if you think the micro don't affect the macro, you're bugging.
Oh, facts.
Because all these little boys that don't have this guidance, you set them out up to the world.
Yeah.
And they become a fucking danger to themselves and to other people.
Exactly.
And this is why I push back whenever people try to
What up, Travis?
either use or insinuate or connotate that step parent is pejorative.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I watched this. I saw this TikTok, this dumbass TikTok yesterday. It pissed me off to no end. This nigga was like, now of course it was a TikTok, so it was truncated, but it was an interview, and the nigga was like, "I'm over 6 feet. I make 6 figures. Blah blah blah. I'm single." So for all y'all women out there that's claiming y'all want dudes that's over 6 feet and make money, why am I still single?
Bruh.
Right?
Superficial shit.
You're trash.
He says, wait. He says, why am I still single? Right? So the interviewer, they're going back and forth, and she asked him, what would you do if you ran into a woman that had kids already? Would you take care of the kids? Would you be a good stepfather? And he was like, I'll take care of the kids as long as you still give me kids because I don't have no kids. All right, cool. But then he's like, I ain't going to be no stepfather. I'm going to be a father. Well, no, you're going to be their stepfather unless you adopt them.
Right.
This is the problem I have with people. Like they'll say this goofy like, yo,
bruh.
the other day, somebody posted a comment on my post about Senator Bob Menendez and his bullshit.
Nigga, listen to me clearly.
I already know.
I saw that shit this morning. I was like, yo.
Now, little do you know, I know the motherfucker.
I know.
I dealt with it.
We've talked about him before.
Yeah, exactly. I dealt with it there and on the yeah. But
oh god,
my point with that is, people think that by saying these things, they actually mean something. Like in this case, he said, people think by saying that I don't care about politics one way or another, that it makes them special or that they're so much more knowing. You don't know dick.
It's a perfect example because I often on this show express my dislike of politics.
Yes.
That doesn't mean
that you don't know what's happening.
Are meaningless.
Right.
That's not the same thing.
Because you're an adult. See, bro, you're an adult.
Right.
These people are in positions of power that can affect your money, your way of life, all of that shit. As an adult, the moment I'm gonna tell you like this, the moment you niggas is ready to step off and out of the kids' table,
bro,
and being a responsible adult in this world, and understand that your voice is supposed to matter. You're supposed to fight for the shit that you give a fuck about, and you're not supposed to let people say that they stand for you when they're doing fuckery out here.
Correct.
Until you realize that shit, you're not gonna really get too much respect from me for that shit. Like you're a child. And it's the same with this. You think by saying, I'm not a stepdad, I'm a real dad. Yo, you literally said nothing. You literally said nothing.
Not a damn thing.
You just said words. You use words in places.
I would not trade my stepfather for another human being. And I am adamant at calling him my stepfather.
Come on.
There's a reason behind it, sure, but that's my stepfather. I would not trade him. My father is my actual biological father, especially now that I have a relationship with him.
Right.
I'm absolutely not changing that because he is still all those bad things that are connected to our experience.
Exactly.
You still don't think just because we speak, that shit don't go away.
Of course it
I'm not one of those.
Right.
Like, yeah.
You still did that.
You still did that. That was still 17 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
17 months don't trump 17 years.
Bruh. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks. I just
over
distinction
go ahead.
between my father and my dad is what I say.
Yeah,
my father, he is my biological person.
But the
helped
funny
me
thing
be
about
here.
that is I do that too between the words father and dad.
Because dad is
dad is who raised you.
Yeah,
right.
Like that's a term of endearment. That's a term of endearment.
I very rarely say that Maurice is my father. I say that he's my dad.
Right.
If I'm talking about my father, I'm talking about my biological father.
Right.
And actually,
so that's how I differentiate.
I'm glad you said that because normally I don't say stepfather. Normally I say stepdad.
Right.
But to recap the documentary, basically, Kirk starts out the documentary explaining I don't
Your Ogma is so ass.
Right. I'm going to ignore you.
Ass.
I'm going to ignore you for now. Catch up, goddammit.
Ass.
Facts, McKenna. So basically, Kirk opens up the documentary and he's talking about, he lets everybody know the history, because a lot of people don't necessarily know about him being adopted by one of his distant family members who was like super old at the time, and she couldn't she really wasn't equipped to still be taking care of a child.
Right. And she never had children, so she didn't have children. Yeah.
Right. And he talks about that relationship, about how he wasn't really raised with any siblings or cousins. He's raised.
Keep going. I still can hear you.
Mm-hmm. He was raised alone, and then it goes into the fact that he's putting out a new album, and he's preparing for the album. He's doing all that, and then he talks about one of his singers that was a childhood friend of his, and the childhood friend went to a funeral for his uncle or his aunt. I can't remember if it was a male or female.
Can't remember.
But his uncle or his aunt, but he's estranged from the family, so, and he knew his mother would be there, so he didn't go. Then there was a guy there named Rick, and somehow amongst the chatter, it came out that Rick and Kirk's biological mother used to date. And then when that was said, people started doing what people do, and your ears and the nose and your height and all that other shit. And then the rumors started perpetrating, and it got to the mother. And one of the first clips in this goddamn documentary is his mother on the voicemail saying, effectively, I'm paraphrasing, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I hear the rumors. I know you hear the rumors. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. But remember, I will never lie to you. So.
Oh, that was the first thing that I got mad about. So, you can find my number. Oh, I found your number.
Right.
To tell me about that?
basically they hadn't spoken for 23 years. So that happens. Then the next thing, Kurt's childhood friend tells Kurt that the man has decided to go ahead and do his part of the DNA test, send it in. Kurt can do whatever he wants to do. He's not putting any pressure on him to do it or anything like that. He just heard the goddamn rumors and he wants to do his part to get to the bottom of it. Mm-hmm. Initially, Kurt didn't want to do it, and he was like, screw it, I'll do it, because then he starts telling the story of there was a man that he had thought was his actual father, and that man died, and he went and talked to this man and, quote, attempted to make peace with him before his death because he had cancer.
Yeah,
he had cancer. So that happened, and he's like, I put who I believe to be my daddy to rest. He went to his grave
thinking that I hated him.
Yeah, I spent my whole life hating this one man. And then the doctor calls with the results, 99%. This is your father. He's like, what the fuck? Like, what? How is this? Like, my mother lied to me again, basically. Right. And it's like, then it hits him like, oh, shoot, I've been hating this one man my entire life. And it wasn't even him.
Right.
He didn't even do anything.
Right.
Then it goes on. He goes back to the studio. Blah 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 blah. When he's at the studio, this is the first part that I listen. Y'all know me by now. I am very respectful until. Because what you're not about to do at 53 years, hell, at 35 years old,
right?
You're not about to little boy me unless you my mama.
Yo, when I saw that, the first thing I thought about was your reaction to that. That's the first thing I thought about was your reaction to that. Because when I saw it, I was like, hold up.
Because I talked about how I reacted to when my father reached out.
Yeah.
Sir, this ain't
that.
You might think.
This ain't that.
I want to disabuse you of that from the jump because I don't want to get into any arguments or anything. Understand, you are my father. You have been gone. I was not looking for you.
Any of the credibility to make you think you can, like, yo, my mom can talk shit to me.
Absolutely. My mother can say whatever the fuck she wants to me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you motherfucker.
You can't talk. You can't say that to me.
You can't say that to me.
So he calls, and it's his aunt. And he says, I'm looking for Sandra. And she's like, who?
Yo,
who you looking for?
That shit rubbed me the wrong way.
I'm like,
you did not raise me. You ain't try to help her take care of me.
Bruh.
Like,
but you demanding a title?
Demanding to be called aunt? Okay. Here. And then he's like, all right, Aunt Sandra. Okay, that's better. And then he says, I'll give him credit for this.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, I do not appreciate what you just did right there. Mm-hmm. And normally,
that's how you gonna continue to.
There will be an issue, but
I got
something important. I gotta take care of, so I'm gonna go ahead and let that slide. And he basically like, hey, I need to talk to you and Deborah. Deborah is his birth mother. It's very important. I need to get together. How I'm supposed to contact you? I'll text you the number. So he goes in and sees Rick, and when he goes to see Rick hasn't seen the results of the test yet.
Right, because Rick left it in his hands.
Right.
To do everything.
So he basically talked to him. He's like, so you had no idea. And he's like, I was a child. I ain't hear nothing about no rumors. Right. None of that. I did not know. He said, if I had any idea that anybody out here was saying that they had got pregnant by me, I would have wanted to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Because that's a realistic, natural reaction that a decent human being would have.
Just saying. Just saying.
At the very least, let me find out if this shit true.
Even if you did know, if you did know there was a child and there's already a man that's claiming him, or the mom is saying like, oh, it's this person's child, you wouldn't. You're not gonna go and, even if you had sex with that person, clearly she know who the father is.
You're not just gonna think,
Right.
Then he pulls out the results. He reads it. He breaks down because shit, and he apologizes profusely.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, let me go walk away. Let me get myself together. And Kirk's like, wait, I need to hug you right now.
Right.
It's like it's probably not gonna be the best hug because right now this is all new. But I need to hug you. They hug. He ends up going to his mother's house. He said he scheduled both of the interactions in one day because he didn't want anybody to be able to talk to somebody and be able to change stories and all that stuff.
Yep.
He gets to the house. He gets to the other house. His aunt, get your ass out the car.
Yo, I
see.
I'm not.
Listen.
You can't talk to me like this.
Listen, Sandra. I'm not getting out the car,
nigga. So he like. Listen, I'm not getting out the car right now. Did you sign the paper? No, I ain't signed that shit. Something this, something that. I'll sign it when we get in the house.
That shit was corny, yo.
Listen, I need you to sign that. It's Deborah here. No, she ain't here yet. Okay. I need you to sign this paper. I'll come in when Deborah gets here. So they go inside. Basically, he reveals the test. She's like, no.
Immediately.
The mother's like, no.
She started capping immediately.
This is not real. It's not true. And he's like, what do you mean?
99.9999.
No.
He said, I can tell you 100%. Right. That is not. That is.
I'm like, nigga, what? That's not how percentages work. So basically he like, all right, maybe she thinking this is a fake test. Whatever the case would be. All right, cool. Come with me. We're going to do another test. And you're going to be there for this one. Yeah, you're going to be there for this one. They in this conference room. They get the results back. Says the same fucking thing because, of course, it does. The father is like, listen, I wasn't looking for this. But now that we're here, the ball's in your court. Because I'm going to give you all the time that you need. My house is open to you. My heart is open to you. My arms are open to you. Whatever you need in this situation, I got you. I am here for you. I am going to take care of that. And he says his goodbye. The mother is still like, no.
Trash.
This isn't.
I don't know why 2 times this says blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
But it ain't no way.
It ain't no way.
Kirk's like, listen, there are 2 DNA tests that I put in front of you, and both of them say that this man is my father, and you can't say, you want to tell me that both of those are false? She's like, yep.
If you can't give me this,
if you can't give me this, it's over.
No kind word, no none of that.
No sugar.
No sugar. Can substitute this shit. And then
the aunt was like, hey, listen. It's DNA. He just want the truth. Even she made a face turn.
Right.
In the fucking documentary. Yo, listen. I hear you. I hear you. But this right here is 2 of them. And both of them say the same thing.
Why you trying like he hit? He hit. You know what I'm saying? He hit.
99.9999.
That was 53 years ago. He hit.
Nigga, that's it. That's what happened. Like, you let him smash. It's cool.
Right.
Nobody is judging you for this particular thing.
But we are judging you.
We're judging you for the other shit.
Right. That reaction, yeah.
And she just busts out crying.
Yo, that emotional...
I wanted you so much and I still can't have you.
No.
That's emotional
blackmail. That's emotional blackmail. That's all that was emotional blackmail, bro. Because if you really wanted your son in your life that way,
bruh.
And here's the thing, to show you how much of an issue all of these things are to people, you would look at a Kirk Franklin and say, well, Kirk eventually became successful in his life. Yeah. He turned out pretty good. Why is it still bothers him? Because at the core of who you are, you're still that kid in the elementary school playground. The core of who you are, you're still that kid.
You ain't even gotta go there for it. It bothers him so much because everybody is different. It's that simple. Yeah. In my situation, it ain't bothering me. I felt how I felt when it first happened. When I first realized, like, oh, this nigga really about to be gone. Like, when that happened, when I was 17, yeah,
the white tears, that part,
bro. Yo, when I was 17. in that moment,
Yeah.
yes, it bothered me.
Of course it
Yeah.
did.
But once I grew up, I was like, okay, this is.
You also wasn't a foster kid. Like a lot of the
Right.
shit that he had to go through.
It's
like,
different.
Yeah,
He had
it
support.
informed it.
He didn't have his mother or his father.
Right.
I always had my mother.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I always had
And
my
even
mother.
the person that adopted him couldn't give him the support he needed. He never had support.
I gotta say though, just
this...
a bit off, a little bit, still about Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
I went and looked up Mr. Franklin's net worth.
Oh.
And I was really disturbed that it was only like it was under 10 million for the level of success.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Here's
the thing. As related to battle rap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gospel music is kind of like that. It's bigger, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah,
in general,
it doesn't get
overall
the same
zeitgeist of popular music, it's not.
Yeah.
He's a giant in his niche.
Right.
But he's not.
But comparatively to other artists in the music industry that do different types of genres of music,
Nah. And the worst part about this for me, fuck the mother, right? Because that's the second worst.
He did. 53 years
yes,
ago.
Rick did.
And he had a kid.
Rick absolutely did.
I can't stand
No, it's facts though. No, listen. We not going to deny the science.
Yeah, she might deny that shit.
She might deny, but outside of the mother, which is the second worst thing for me, the worst thing for me is Rick was doing all right.
Yeah.
Right.
Rick was doing all right. Kirk struggled.
Yes, he
struggled.
Yes, he did.
Cars repoed, not knowing where he was going to get his next meal from.
Sir.
Homeless at a point. All this shit. Rick, I don't know. Ain't no telling how miraculous Rick's come up was.
True. We don't know.
But Rick ended up all right.
Yo, he had a nice
house.
I mean, but you see how in a lot of these cases when the father is not in the picture and the moms doesn't do the Herculean task of making sure that the kid is at least somewhat stable.
Yeah.
They pass that trauma on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So he passed that shit on to his son.
Yep.
I don't know if any of y'all seen it. A couple years back, it was a video circulating of Kirk Franklin cussing his son the fuck out.
Yes, he did.
And it was bad. Yeah. It was
ugly.
Oh, you bitch ass nigga. Blah blah this.
It was hood.
Fuck you up when I see
hood, yo.
like
it was
that
hood.
type shit.
Yeah.
So at the end of the documentary,
passed it right down.
It was basically like, all right, I've gotten this part of my life a little bit more together now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to address what I've done.
What I fucked up.
So he calls his son comes over. His son immediately. First of all, Kurt was like, listen, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah,
his son was like, he was like, listen, whatever, I don't even know what it is. And
I don't want to hear it. Yeah, right. I'm already annoyed at your ass. Right?
And I'm like, yo. And then he showed him the video of him finding out.
That broke all that guard down.
All that veneer
all that
was gone.
Yeah.
He bust down in tears. He like, yo, this is all I've ever wanted. Like,
because now it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's
I needed
a reason
as
to why our relationship was as bad as it was. Yes, I contributed, but
yes, now
this gives me something. This helps me understand your side of it a little bit more.
Right.
Because, and unfortunately, part of it is that shit that we was talking about earlier, that I had to deal with this, so you gotta, I ain't have blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Or I ain't even have such and such. At least you got.
Right.
Yeah.
So, them reconciling.
Right. It's so hard to actually start the process of healing when you don't know the other side of it.
That's the fact.
Like, so him going to therapy, and he said he's his therapist's longest client because you can only make but so much progress when you have no idea.
Yeah,
right. No solving it. It's just dealing with it.
Especially when the person that you thought was your father died.
Right.
with you
Right.
still not really coming to
resolving
terms.
any of that, right?
Right.
Exactly.
That was a wound, like he said, that was a wound that was never going to heal. Now that he knows who his father is, I anticipate it will be a little bit better for him.
Yeah, I mean, you see it on all different types of levels of that. I know with me, it wasn't until I found out my father's whole story
Yeah.
about who his actual biological father was, how all that shit came about, the stuff he had to go through growing up, and then he went to Vietnam.
Yeah. Right.
So
And
it
that's why you
doesn't.
gotta talk.
It didn't absolve him of the wrong he did.
Exactly. Right.
But it made sense at that point because I said I had to put myself in that situation and like, I'm a bastard. I ain't as bad as a lot of people, but I'm a bastard.
Right.
How much more of a bastard would I would have been if I'd have had to be that?
Yeah.
Right.
So
same with my situation. When I found out this nigga villain origin story, I'm like,
right.
Oh,
right.
Shit.
Right.
Hey.
All right. Well, we can start talking.
Right. Right.
Like,
right.
Nigga.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Look. What's that Tony Baker said? I never knew.
I never knew. Or that Doug Nificent. I didn't know, Flo.
Right.
I didn't. But I mean, this shit. You want to talk about
heavy.
creating a national villain? His mama?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Villain.
Bruh.
And then tried
True
to.
villain.
You know the part that really annoyed me even more? So after they had that conversation, she was going back to the car. Her sister was way behind her. She was in front. And I'm like, all you had to do was come clean.
Right.
About a booty call that you did 53 years ago.
It's that simple. Yo,
You couldn't give him that. No, you shouldn't be in his life. Because if you can't give him that small thing, that's sacrifice.
You'll never give him nothing.
Yeah, he don't need you around.
Like, yo, this is all I need. I just need you to give me this.
Right, that's it.
Nope.
Because at this
Then
point,
she said, "Is this going to affect us moving forward?" Yes. What kind of question is that?
Listen. At that point, it's no longer about the father.
Right.
It's about your relationship, your level of truthfulness. When you know we've had this issue for
After
years
you
about
just
you not
said you
telling
was never lying to him.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
You know I never lied to you.
No, I don't. You've been lying to me this whole time. You
Nigga.
lied before. All of this, you was lying. And I caught you lying several times
You
before.
still lied.
And
You're still lying now.
Here's the thing that makes this not even worse. It just makes you think more. That man might have been the only man she had sex with during that time.
That's facts. That's facts.
And for whatever reason, she didn't want him to be the father.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a lot of stuff that we don't even know
A bunch of shit that we have no idea of. And because you want to be so fucking obstinate, like,
you still holding on to that. You what?
Still.
You like what?
No, she's 68.
Come.
She like 68 years old. You are like, you grown as hell. Your son grown as hell.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, there are conversations that I've had with my mother since I've become grown that some I would have never wanted to have. But because but because it gives me solace in her recognizing my grownness.
Yes.
Like, she wouldn't have these conversations with me if she didn't look at me as an adult.
Exactly, as being a goddamn adult. And you know, it's funny because like my mom's, you know how a lot of these adults, these parents, feel uncomfortable and hesitant to talk to their children about sex and stuff like that. My mom said I first started asking questions about that when I was like 5 or 4, and she was just answering them.
Right.
Because the alternative,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like this thing happened. I must repeat, 53 years ago,
bruh.
You did the horizontal mambo with this nigga.
Facts.
And
the beast with 2 backs.
The beast with 2 backs with this guy. And for whatever reason, whatever situation made you feel uncomfortable, you didn't say that he took it. Right? Because then I could kind of maybe. So it was obviously consensual, or you would have mentioned that it wasn't, right?
Right.
And you still can't tell your son who had to go through. And the thing is, you know your son's story too. You may not know because you wasn't around, but you know his relative summary of his life growing up as a kid, and you still can't give him that.
Yeah,
you didn't raise him.
Right.
You ain't show up.
You ain't show up.
Give him that one little thing.
You can't give him that one thing.
Because here's the thing I do believe, based on her behavior. I do believe she legitimately wants to be in his life.
She do. She just.
It's just that she don't want that more than telling the fucking truth.
Right. And that make. And first of all, if I'm him, I'm thinking the priority should be me. If you care about me being your son, the priority should be me, not to some 53-year-old secret.
Yeah.
Right. The deed is done. I'm here. I'm grown. My kids are grown.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like at this point, how long are we keeping the secret going?
What are we talking about? Like
the worst kept secret ever.
Literally, I have all of the proof. I have all of the proof I possibly could give you.
Twice.
The nigga, no, not just twice. We talking about even anecdotal shit. The nigga specifically said, "Hey, yeah, I dated her."
I used to date Deborah back in the day.
That's how the shit started. That's how the shit started.
And then niggas start looking.
I know Deborah heard that rumor. I know Deborah heard the rumor. Was like,
looking at his eyes, like,
right, like, bruh.
And then she tried to race. She tried to race to Kirk to be like, listen, bruh, I know you might have heard some rumors.
Let me get my story in quick.
Right.
Let me get my story in quick.
Like, before this nigga come with the truth and shit.
Let me paint the fuck out of that.
Right.
I'm telling you some shit.
But it's just, she clearly needs help, which she's never going to get.
No, she's
let's be realistic. She's never going to get it. But
not at all.
You couldn't. You ain't even set your lie up right. Because here's the thing. In that voicemail, I wouldn't have left it open-ended if I was so adamant on keeping this lie.
Right.
I'd have been adamant. Listen, I know. I heard the rumors. I promise you, they're not true.
Yeah.
I promise. Like, no. She like, if you ever want to know,
you know I never lied to you.
You know I never lied to you.
Yo, the fact that she said that shows how delusional she is too.
Yo,
he already caught you in a lot of lies. Like,
bruh, the fact that the first actual sentence he said after finding out was, "My mama lied to me
again." Right. She made more effort trying to find him and make that phone call than she ever made in his whole entire life. And I would have been like, "There's no way that's not my father." Like immediately, because you don't talk to me.
23 years. They went 23 years without fucking talking.
Right.
He was still in his 20s when that happened.
Yeah.
Yes. I found your number. Because I heard the rumors and I know you heard it. Like, what? Oh, you can make effort for that though.
Effort to do that shows that he absolutely hit 53 years ago and your ass for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
I don't know if she was in a relationship with somebody else at the time.
At 68, she not now, right? Why are you still trying to hide it from that nigga? You ain't still with him. You know what I'm saying?
She probably, you know what? She probably was so relieved when that other man died. It was like, okay,
bro,
right
now, guy, never gonna find out.
Questions.
Never gonna find out.
No more questions. I'm gonna get my son back, nigga. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
wasn't to be.
Yo,
and again, let this be a lesson to the rest of you nuts. All that lying and shit that you doing with shit that is obvious,
bruh.
It's beneath.
Firstly,
everybody's dignity.
Firstly, it's wholly unnecessary, right? Because if I already have, like, we're not talking about I have a sneaking suspicion,
right?
We talking about I got evidence.
99.9.
Scientific.
Can you imagine somebody being in a house and another person there with them and says, "Yo, we in a house," and they go, "Nope, we not." Yo, walls, ceiling, floor, windows, rooms. No,
No.
I know 99.9% of the time.
I am the 0.0001. It's not possible. I am not in the house right now.
Yo, this is, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely
is.
ridiculous.
And it was just
She's either the greatest
unnecessary.
liar of all time or the worst liar of all time.
Both.
I can't decide.
Both.
Somehow,
All both of them.
listen, if she could add 100% to that fucking probability, then we can say she both.
She has to be, bro. She has.
Like, what?
So they
It's
fucked up twice.
crazy.
Bruh.
So they
Because
fucked up twice.
here's the thing that bothers me the most, right? Because we see motherfuckers that deny science all the time. We see that shit all the time. So that's not the biggest part that bothers me. The biggest part that bothers me is, to what end?
Right.
Why?
Bro, that should be on
What
you. I
is the
swear that's
point?
one of his catchphrases.
Bruh, because, like, what is the purpose of this?
I would have
How
asked her,
does
how
it
many
benefit
paternity
you?
tests do you need? How many do
Bruh.
you need?
Like, how does this benefit you? How does it benefit you, like, tangibly? What do you get out of maintaining this facade?
Because here's what you lose
Nigga.
by maintaining it. You lose having a son in your life that treats you like a son.
Your grandchildren.
Yeah, you lose all of that.
Like, what are we? And now, I ain't gonna hold you. I wouldn't be surprised if your sister look at you a little bit different now.
Yeah.
100%.
Because the way she switched up,
she switched up quick.
She like, hey, bro, it's DNA. Like,
listen.
He just want the truth.
Right there.
Listen, Deborah. Let me talk directly to Deborah. Deborah, there are a couple of women from my past that I hit that I shouldn't have. And I wish to this day that I did not. That does not change the fact that I hit. I did what I did.
Right.
It is what it is. Now, thankfully, no children came as a result of my shenanigans. Right? Right?
That he's aware of.
But that, shut up. But that, and even if that's even if that's true, if one of them come up to me today, tomorrow, when I'm 68,
right,
and I swab all this,
right,
and
hey,
my bad,
this. Yeah, right.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
All right. Now let's get to blah 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 blah. Where we at? All right.
So mine is not a lot. Just to put that out there, if that is any.
I got a lot. So
yeah, you always got a lot.
That's not true. Not true.
Yo, sometimes I'd be like,
Most of the time he does, but
most of the time
there are times where he was
like, I ain't got. But no,
I'm just going to assume mine is the shortest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, probably.
So remember many weeks ago.
Do I?
When I told you
hold on,
all...
real quick. Sis said the saddest part in all of this is the shame that trumps love and honesty with your children. That's facts. That's hard facts. Like, that's the worst part about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, shut up, Ogma.
I mean,
shut up.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Shut up. You too. But anyway, weeks and weeks ago, I told you all about the war I had with WASP around here to keep them from gaining a foothold at the place I live. Because I got people here that got to go outside and they can't have a big ass paper nest sitting there with these territorial ass heathens that will attack because this our shit now. They're not deboning this. You're not doing that. Well, apparently, they didn't call the bouncers. They didn't call the warriors.
They got the Corvettes.
Out there in that fig tree, what used to be was these regular wasps doing their thing, being annoying.
Mm.
The wasps that are in there now
Mm.
are as big
Oh, they're the army wasps.
as my thumb.
Yeah.
They sick of you.
They're big as shit.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law says to me, hey, I just found out the way you check to see if the figs are ripe is you squeeze them. If they're soft, you can pull them down. Not down. But when you get some time, you happen to be out there, you feel like pulling down some figs. I don't know when that would ever happen. But snatch a few of them figs off there. Now, me, I told you guys before, I don't eat figs unless they're in the form of fig Newtons. And I don't have them that often, right? I don't eat them shits.
She
right?
could probably make some.
I mean, doubtful. That's probably going to go to somebody else. It's probably going to go to somebody else. And I said, I don't know when I'll ever be in a fig picking mood, right? Mm-hmm. But it's possible I might be out there. There's a box. Snatch some of these in here. When I saw those wasps, the size of them, I was like, there is no way. And the rock means no way. I am sticking my hand in that fig tree to touch a single fucking fig.
I don't understand the problem.
Well, let me explain. It's one thing when the wasp are regular size. Now, they're dangerous at regular size.
Absolutely.
They fuck you up, especially in numbers.
Oh, yeah.
But I fancy myself somewhat of a Billy Badass.
Of an idiot.
So all right, it is what it is, nigga. Throw your hands up, right? And I won. At least I thought I did.
I'm gonna say you didn't.
I got the fuck up out of here.
The fight was postponed.
But when I saw the size of them damn thing, I'm not doing it.
They brought reinforcements.
And this is the thing. It's not even like it's a lot. Like typically when the smaller ones, it's quite a bit of them in it. It's not like it's even a lot of them in comparison, but it's enough of them.
Oh.
It's enough of them. And it seems like they went and said, you know what? You cut your finger out here once cutting the grass. We took the blood of you and we mixed it in with these wasps. They spliced it in, and now these motherfuckers are you, but meaner. Bring it.
Number one.
And I was not. They was like, they was all this.
No.
I was like, we don't do that here.
Number one, I promise you that's not what happened. Number two, you're lucky that they only went to get bigger wasps. Because if they would have went to get them crows or them ravens.
Listen.
They might get them next. Don't play with them.
I don't. First of all, I'll tell you the reason why I don't think that's true. The reason I don't think that's true is not because the Ravens fuck with me. I don't think that. I think the Ravens don't fuck with them. And I think I'm benefiting off of that.
Generally, they don't. But if you heard the story of who is it? I think it's hyenas and.
Oh, jeez. I know what you're about.
It's some other mammal. They hated each other for centuries.
Yes.
And then one day they realized.
I don't believe that
if they work together.
I am not the catalyst.
They would achieve the goal.
Breaking that. Listen, I am not the catalyst of that. I knocked down a couple of nests here and there. You know what I'm saying? And I've never done nothing to the Ravens. So I don't know what the fuck. I was a Ravens fan when I was in the
nigga. It wasn't you directly. It was your herald.
Oh, well, listen. I'm a stand by T'Challa. Here or not.
I know. I know. But that's the point. That's the point that I'm making.
He did what he was tasked to do. And speaking of that, I'm really annoyed at the groundhogs around here, too. There was a time, my friend, when they would come in, they would venture into the yard, but they would stay near that back fence because that's where their holes and shit was, all back there in that other part of the yard that's fenced off.
Right.
That's where their shit was at. I ain't got no problem with that. Do you? I don't know if this is a young one who's now an adult and just got a bunch of don't give a fuck in him. I went outside the other day and I was talking on the phone to my mom. I walk up the driveway, go to the front. That motherfucker is on my front yard near my steps. I'm like, why? This is weird. You're usually out back because out back is where your holes are, and it's a whole woods, right? Like maybe, I don't know, 20 feet from where your holes are. That's odd. I come back from the walk into the backyard. This motherfucker, instead of being where he usually is by the gate, you know that shack, that tool shack that's connected to the house? It's literally connected to the house. He's right up there.
I mean,
looking at me, reared up on some back paws, like. And it wasn't until I went over there and sat down that he went. But then he came back, but not to that same spot. Came back to the middle, was like, "You on the phone? Fuck you gonna do?"
Yeah, he's making inroads.
What I'm saying is,
they all come together.
Yo, you fucked up. Yo, listen, if they decide to get on the same page, you fucked, my boy.
Listen.
Look like the evil version of Snow White outside of your house.
I have to, yo, as much as I don't want to, I got to get 2 more Siamese. I need 2 hurls. I need 2 hurls.
Nigga.
Because these birds, between the birds, the wasp, and the groundhogs, and the squirrels, is getting to be a lot. And listen, I also realized how valuable T'Challa was when he was here. He kept that shit clear.
Yep.
Like birds in the yard, they fly across the yard, like, not there.
Right.
Not there. And now it's Endgame. It's literally the scene from Endgame now, where they're all coming out of portals and shit talking about on your left. What the fuck?
Nigga.
What the fuck? And this ain't worth it. Let me tell you why it's not worth it. It's not worth it because it's one thing when I had AC. Something to fight for. Listen now, B. No. So yeah, that's my week.
Battling against animals and losing.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of losing. Listen, I wasn't gonna point it out. But you, hey, man,
I gotta get a couple more Siamese, man. These pets in here are no help.
No, listen. I get it. But right now, my guy, you kind of down. You kind of down. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm down bad.
Yo, this is a fact. The amount of animals that have declared war in Tombstone's yard is hilarious. They vary in species and tenacity. It is a murderous row.
They are looking at me like I'm Thanos. I didn't snap.
Yo, they looking at you like.
What did you do?
All I did was protect hearth and home. That's all I did.
He in their space. That's what it is. And
I stood on principle.
You know what? You've been here a little bit too long, old man. That's what they.
Time for you to get on up out of here.
No, that's the energy they giving to him. No, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, yo, you been here a little bit too long, my guy.
Listen.
And I ain't seen your man's around.
Wintertime.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you still had to deal with the Corvettes,
bro.
During the winter.
Listen, they don't even be around here like that. Listen, no, the other people you have to deal with during the winter actually is squirrels and geese.
That's facts.
Flying,
geese are mean as shit.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, I really messed up because it hasn't happened yet. But I know how really messed up is when wintertime comes. Instead of them just flying over to go to their next destination, they start hanging out.
See geese tracks.
Right. I know I didn't.
The wasps on their way out are going to warn the geese.
Bruh, you start seeing geese tracks, it's time to move, my guy.
Yeah, it is. I ain't gonna hold you. But I mean, it was arguably time to move when we had no AC in August.
That's true. No, listen, I ain't gonna hold you. No, you're right.
I'm saying?
You're right. You're a resilient. You are a resilient people.
These cats in here are worthless. These cats in here currently are so busy with attacking each other that they don't see the true threat that's outside the door.
Listen.
Like,
they gotta balance out the battlegrounds first.
So I'm assuming
once
you'll
they
have your
balance them out,
AC by like November.
he can't
possibly.
even
I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, listen, I got to get me 2 Siamese cats now. I need 2 because at this point, one wouldn't be able to handle the load.
Yeah, it's built up a little bit.
Yeah, I need 2.
Yeah.
Yo, because to be truthful, it wasn't even just the child alone. It was also Zora. Like Zora, even though she was in her last days, she was an outdoor cat. She go out there and she made sure, like, listen, her reputation obviously preceded her because they ain't fuck with. They ain't look. She took the front. The child had the back, and it was like, hey, don't come down here with that bullshit.
Now they know your defenses are down.
Defenses are down. The heralds are gone. Look, I haven't feasted on a planet in quite some while, so I'm not in my full Galactus strength and shit. Like, this is not good, bro.
Nigga.
This is not good.
That's funny.
It's not good. But yeah, that's my way. Oh, by the way, everybody, make sure you click that link.
It's at the top.
Yeah, click that link to the Kickstarter notify when launch button and shit. I'll put the link in there. Yeah, that's my week.
Get in on this. All right, Chrissy.
All right, let's see. Where do I start? Oh.
At the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not last week, but I feel like I'm still recovering from a beautiful wedding that I was a part of. It was actually beautiful. It was amazing.
I was giggling at Ogma's.
Oh.
One of by air, 2 of by sea.
Yeah, so I'm still recovering from that. The reason I'm still recovering is my friend, she's amazing. She had a book, a 40-page book on the day of the wedding, on all of our tasks, what pictures she wanted taken, what the timeline was, where we were supposed to be, when we were supposed to be there. The timeline went from Friday to Sunday. The wedding was on Saturday. We were with her the whole weekend. Wonderful. We go to the rehearsal dinner and chaos ensues because of a terrible storm that knocked out the power at the mansion we were at.
Oh my. So it was Haunted Mansion?
It was Haunted Mansion. That mansion was built in like 1902, so I could tell you some shit went down in there.
Shit. Did you get the Scoobies? You should have got the Scoobies.
Really, honestly.
You could have called Sam and Dean. They came through there or something.
Oh, I feel like I needed Sam and Dean. The power was supposed to come on that night. It didn't come back on until 3 hours before the wedding.
Damn it.
Yeah, so my anxiety for her was through the roof. Because I've been married before and I had planned a wedding. Yeah. And my wedding wasn't nearly as big as what her wedding was. So I was just like, please let this work. But, it worked out. The wedding was beautiful.
What up, Ken?
I say this to say, people that are planning events have to understand you cannot control everything.
That's a fact.
There was nothing she had a 40-page book and she could not have predicted the power was going to go out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was, like I said, it wasn't last week, but that was a lot. She's happily on her honeymoon now, so I'm glad for them.
The power might go out there too. So
you know what? Hopefully not. At this point, it would be like just a bad dream, like freaking Groundhog Day or something.
Don't mention groundhogs.
So I recovered from that, and since then, the biggest thing I feel like is work. My job is the most chill job. Like you get your work done, you go home. They don't bother you. They don't do nothing.
Sounds like a blast.
It is most days. That too. I don't know how people get fired from my job, but they do. And most recently, somebody that just started the week before we went to Myrtle Beach got fired. Now, if y'all remember, we were in Myrtle Beach the last week of August.
Right.
She got fired this week. I work for a Black-owned company. We start by saying this. our supervisor is white, and this new person that got fired was white. And she just, I don't know, it just didn't work. It wasn't working out, but she wasn't going to obviously let her go just because it wasn't working out.
Right.
She just,
Even though
all
it's a
right,
perfectly valid reason in Maryland.
it is,
It
it
is.
is,
It is.
yeah. And she claimed she worked with our population before, but it's clear she didn't.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And one day, a client was supposed to see her, didn't show up. So she was sitting outside of our building, crisscross applesauce on the street because the client didn't show up and she was
Did you
crying.
say
Yes, I said
crisscross
crisscross applesauce. Yes. Yes. That's how ridiculous it was. So I had to say it like that to tell
Wow.
you how ridiculous it was.
Wow.
So yeah, it wasn't for her. But ultimately, what led to her getting fired was that she was stealing time.
Oh, that's
And
a
not
no.
not a couple of minutes. This girl was walking in at 10 but had already clocked in at 8.
Oh, she's broken.
And she did it so our supervisor's not always there, but she always tells people, I'm not there, but I'm always a text, a phone call away. She works all hours of the night. She's just not always in the office.
Right.
So I think she thought, oh, I can pull this off. Like
She's
she
bugging.
showed up. She showed up early, like her
She
first 2
thought.
days. Right. And then she saw that we come in late as hell. And she probably was like, oh, all right. Yeah, we come in late as hell, but I clock in at that late ass time. I don't clock in at 8 o'clock.
Yo, kids sense. Yeah, that sounds like daylight savings.
No, facts.
Nigga.
And then she would leave at 4 and clock out at 5. So that's 3 hours in one day.
Yeah, she's listen. I have fired a worker for less time stealing that. It was
Right.
cumulative.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe they may had a whole 20 minutes every day, just hanging around when their work was done. Then they go in, and then once it got back to my attention from the managers, you gotta go.
Yeah.
No, I want her first, and she kept doing the shit, and then she did it at the front desk, where in the morning shift, because we worked overnight, people are coming in. She out there talking to the security guard. People are coming in the building, supervisors, managers, and nosy ass other workers from the morning shift who are already jealous that we got the overnight rocking. You think somebody gonna tell on you? Come on.
I can't. Yeah, it just don't make no sense. And she just she didn't know what to say out her mouth. So one day I went to go knock on her door to tell her something, and she's like talking to a client with the door open, which was another bad habit she had.
Oh my!
We told her about multiple times, and her voice was so loud. We'd be like, "Close your door," and you're talking to a client. You should have your door closed anyway.
Exactly.
And I had a machine that makes white noise so that you can't really hear. I gave her my machine because I don't talk that loud when I'm with a client. Why are you screaming? So I said, "Here." I said, "Your voice carries. You can have this." She still would talk with the door open. So anyway, I go to knock on the door to tell her something, and she's like, "What? I'm with a client." First of all, your door.
Oh no!
So
he was on some what's that Cyndi Lauper song where she said keep it down now, voice is scary.
Shut up, Travis. Just because my voice is squeaky, my clients hear me.
I mean,
shut up. So my work bestie got all of us in the office these little folding chairs, this big, that holds our phone like it's a cell phone holder.
Oh my!
After the incident, she bought us all the chairs. So that day she was already doing too much, so we had lined up the chairs on the counter.
Oh no!
I took the chairs and made a line from her office to my office with the chairs, and then I sat behind the last one. Because our job is truly madness.
No coof.
No.
Yo, the coof out the window. They can't even
The only reason I moved the chairs is because I knew if she walked out of her office and stepped on one, I was going to be mad. So I decided to move the chairs. But yeah, she had to go.
Some of them little chairs too. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh my gosh, they're like they're cell phone holders. But in the case that somebody wants to fuck around, they can find out. So, and that's what happened to
In case
her.
of emergency, break glass and grab chair.
Yo,
Right. Facts. Facts. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, now that she's gone, the peace has returned. Well, the peace that is my job
I'm about to say,
has
Nick.
shut
Okay.
up,
All right.
has
My bad.
returned. And I just realized like the flexibility that I have at my job, the wonderful, like, as long as I get my work done, nobody's clocking me, nobody's bothering me. That's what I need.
Good
Because it's
times.
already bad enough. We were talking about the work culture earlier in the US. It's already bad enough. You have to spend more time at work than you spend awake and at home with your
That's a
family.
fact. That's a
So if I can be comfortable and have a flexible job, and if I have an emergency, I could be like, hey y'all, I gotta go do this, I'll be back.
Right.
Nobody's like, oh, how long you gonna be gone?
Right.
What time are you gonna be? Because I do my work.
Right.
Because even if I'm at home and I have notes to do, I do them. If
You
I
can
have a
work,
client
right.
after hours, I do it at home.
It's
So
facts.
nobody's clocking me for my 40 hours. So I
Facts.
just don't understand people that let that kind of job go, because I don't think I can work a real job
But see, the
now.
problem is she wasn't part of the peace part of it.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
that's the issue.
Clearly.
Yeah. So that's work. And then lastly, I finally took James to K-Pot that I
Oh,
had been saying I was going to do for like, I don't know how long it was.
Nigga.
It was a long time.
Eons.
But it's September, and apparently September is take a man out on a date. So took him out
it
on a
is.
date. Yeah, apparently. So we went out on a date to K-Pot, and it was good. The one thing that I realized, they sat us right next to the buffet, and I told him this yesterday. I was like, I don't think I like sitting next to the buffet, because in my mind there are certain things that I know happen at a buffet, but if I don't see them, then
Right.
I don't know what's happening.
Right.
So one of those things is kids being allowed to go to the buffet by themselves, because they're going to touch stuff with their little nasty hands, or they're going to sneeze, or they're going to cough. And I'm none the wiser because I'm not near the buffet. But this time
Facts.
I was right near the buffet. And right behind us was a family with like 3 young kids.
Gross.
Well,
But
luckily we had got our stuff from the buffet before they got there.
yeah,
Yeah, but
but
what about that family of 15 kids that was there right before y'all got?
nope.
Again, we don't know.
Oh
That never
no,
happened.
it never happened. But what I will say about this family of kids, I guess their parents let them know. Every time that little boy went up there, he grabbed the tongs, and when he couldn't reach the tongs, he was about to stick his whole hand in the thing of French
Oh
fries,
hell no!
and he stopped,
We stopped.
and he said, "Dad, I need help getting the fries." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." The little girl was running back and forth, but
She touched every single plate.
she did touch every single plate. She went under the stacks of plates. She was going under, touching every plate.
Oh my no! See, hold up. Now, there's one thing to be said about children being young, and they don't really get. They still haven't learned all the social mores and all this other shit. The fact that she went and purposely touched every
Here's the
plate,
thing. Here's
that's
the thing.
purposeful. That's
be fair-
purposeful. She
To
out
be
of
fair,
line.
in the moment, yeah, she's out of line. To be fair, in the moment, it was 3 of them motherfuckers, and it was only 2
Yo.
parents. They was outnumbered.
They was outnumbered. And the amount of times, like the mom had walked somewhere else, and the amount of times all 3 kids said, "Daddy, Daddy, Dad, Dad." I was like, At this point, I'm changing my name. Like I used to tell my god kids that I'm changing my name, because stop calling me. And he'd be like, "Daddy," then the little one, "Daddy," the other one, "Dad." I'm like, no.
Stereo and shit, surround sound and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, Hug was saying, "Oh my god, they
Yeah,
were
that
letting
shit
kids in the
stereo.
buffet section in Vegas. The main was like too tall and crowded for them. I saw something that would stick with me. Yuck!
Yo.
I don't even. Oh my god!
Man, I don't even need to know.
Know what they need to do? Give the kids their own damn buffet. Y'all go
That's
fuck
facts,
that up.
though.
Like,
That's facts, though.
do
They
not
got
come over
kids
here.
tables, right? So give them
Yeah,
their own
kids buffet, and it can be French fries and chicken fingers and whatever.
And
But
they can put
over
their little
there,
chicken fingers on everything they want there, because it's
Let
gonna
me
be
Right.
get
back
over
and
there
forth.
first, though. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Or you could just
What?
ban them.
I just said, let me get over there first, though.
no, we have our own section.
They still got the French fries and chicken tenders.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they
Alright,
probably be
cool.
over there too and shit. You know what I'm saying?
As long as I got access to that stuff too.
Okay, but yeah. So I was like, you know what? That's how, and it was a post on Facebook the other day. It said one kid is one kid, two kids is five kids,
Facts.
and three kids, and it was this long ass number, and it said and like a monkey and some other shit. Like, and it's true. Like, that's too many kids because when
Yo,
we're outnumbered, that's a problem.
that's
Like,
that's an outbreak monkey. It's one of
Mhm.
those kids is an outbreak monkey, and you know what's
exactly.
gonna happen. You're gonna touch everything, touch every plate,
Yep.
like she did, what's like Wednesday did on that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna touch every fucking plate, and next thing you know, everybody in that buffet gonna be sick as a motherfucker.
Yep.
Nah,
I said, you know what? Never mind. I can't do more than two. Nope. And then
yo,
the two will lull you into a
crazy.
false sense of security. What if your first two are so good? You're like, you know what? Let's have one more. And that last one is exactly what you said to him. So,
See, the reason why that didn't work because I grew up in a house with three kids, me, my brother, and my sister.
mm-hmm.
My sister was the youngest, but arguably the best behaved out of all of us, right?
Oh, that's good.
Now my mom thought kind of different, but I knew better. So I knew better. She was best behaved out of all three of us, right? But I wasn't taking that chance. So I told her I'm gonna have one kid and that's gonna be it. Now I didn't know I was eventually gonna meet somebody that had a kid too, but that's still cool because she had a
Right.
son, he became my son, my daughter became her daughter. Hey, we Gucci.
Good.
But I
Right.
wasn't listen, my kid was one of the most unassuming. There's only a few times I can count where she was out of pocket. And I know I lucked the fuck up
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen other parents out there with these monsters, these fucking crotch goblins, touching
Facts.
everything, stealing shit, loud, in your face. You sitting on the bus, there instead of them sitting looking up front, they turned back, fucking with the people that sitting back. I've seen it.
He was like, nope, I'm all the
No,
way good.
no, I'm
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. The only other thing, my last thing, is comment wars on Facebook. I
Oh,
generally, I really don't do it. Like on the news post when somebody says something stupid, I usually
Right.
just keep scrolling. But I don't know what happened the other day. I just felt like fussing. So there was a post. It was on Fox 45, and it said this girl was in school and her teacher taught her about white privilege in school,
Mhm.
and the mother was furious about it for
I know exactly what
whatever.
story you're talking about.
I didn't even read it because I
Mhm.
was going to keep scrolling and I saw somebody's comment said, there's no such thing as white privilege. It's just you guys aren't using your skills and ambition. And I said, this is a privilege statement. Like you literally did it in this statement.
What did we just say earlier about if you and your demographic had the ability to write all the laws, all the
Right.
rules, and control everything from education to economics to entertainment to whatever for centuries, and then all of a sudden in 1964 you said, hey, we all cool now. You think
Right.
everybody's going to be on an even playing field?
right.
It was just stupid. And so I said that comment and then she was like, but I'm still right. I'm like, but you're privileged. And then eventually she went on to just keep talking, going back and forth with me. But the thing that really made me, well, I knew anyway to stop. But the thing that really made me be like, you know what, this is stupid. She says, I looked at your page, I looked at your pictures. It's
They always do
clear,
that.
it's clear that you're half white. So you have the best of both worlds.
What the fuck?
And I just wrote back, both of my parents are black, thank you. Then I
Fuck are
just
you
said,
talking
have
about?
the day you deserve. And she said, I will have the day I deserve because I live in Honolulu.
Wait, what? Didn't they just? You know
No,
what?
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
No, we're not.
And I didn't respond because I said, you know what, you just as dumb as I thought you were.
Yes,
First of all,
No,
yes.
your picture,
no.
She's dumber.
yeah, honestly. I was like, and then I did say after I said the thing of like both of my parents are black, thank you. I said, but see me, I recognize my light skin privilege as a light skinned black woman. But we're still talking about the fact that you don't recognize yours as a white woman. So
Kicked
please
her
stop.
right in the ass.
And I just left it alone because I'm too smart for it. Like I can't.
And that's
So.
the thing about the conversations online, which is why a lot of times you don't see me as much as I used to engage in a lot of the shit because it's a waste of time. These people get into these conversations. There's nothing you're going to say, no facts you can bring up, no history you can bring up. That's going to change their mind. And at the end of the day, all you're going to do is rile yourself up, get yourself agitated, and they're going to walk away still thinking whatever it is they thought, it's not worth it. It's not worth the
time. That's what I should have said.
I can tell by your profile that both of your parents are idiots.
I should have said that.
Yo, that's amazing.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, but you're right. Like, there's nothing you can say. You could show them 99.9999,
right?
And they are going to believe that it's not true.
They're gonna.
They are Deborah.
Yo, right? Fire Theft says, I feel like people just have a hard time thinking beyond their personal. Like they see themselves struggling and can't fathom that the concept is bigger than themselves.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Bo Flex said, send her a folding chair.
Send her a picture of my folding chair. But I just was like, you know what? It doesn't make, like you said, there's nothing I could have done. You could point out the facts.
Literally not. And that's why I said, like, a lot of the energy, and we kind of talk about this on the show from time to time, a lot of the energy that I feel like that our community has exhausted in attempting to make people see these things is wasted energy. The energy we should be concerned about is what's going to make our lives better. And that means certain things are going to have to change. The way we approach certain things, the way certain reflexes that we have to handle certain things, certain type of way, got to change. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to convince a people who apparently 56 years ago, when they did the civil rights stuff and all of those bills and all that stuff back then, it took them, mind you, it took them from that period to maybe the 80s, late 80s, to even really take a stab at making that like society wide. And then a few decades after that, they want to reverse everything. So we can't keep wasting our time with that. We have to find, because we got children that's coming up and they're going to be miseducated like a motherfucker. We got to start taking some responsibility for that shit, because trying to convince them of any of that,
it's just
the ones that was going to be convinced, they were already convinced.
Facts.
They were already convinced. That when you see people in our the comment chat and stuff, these people are already they already were convinced of it. They already saw the history. Yeah. They already saw how that shit worked out. But these other folks, we got to focus on our community.
98% of the people that are in our lives have already seen the light.
They've already done the work.
That's the point. Maybe they've already done the work. We may have convinced on a thing or two.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. Right. Like, you got to do your own personal work, because they got stuff that, in their minds for their situations that they haven't even worked through.
Exactly.
I was like, nope. But yeah, that was my week.
Ken said they believe that if they're 99.999% wrong, that they think that makes them 10% right.
Yo.
Thanks.
I can't even argue. Like, that's probably accurate numbers and everything. Well, no, Deborah thought she was 100% right.
Facts. Ogma said people don't grasp that not being able to recognize their own privilege is a privilege in itself.
Yes, that's why I made that original comment. Like, you saying that is privilege.
Right.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I have never had a reason to bring it up. But the mere fact that let's ignore everything else. Let's say that everything else is on the equal playing field.
Right.
Let's say that it's just we're just talking about a preference of who you want to see, who you want to be around.
Yeah.
The fact that there are sections of this country, this very country that we live in, where as a white person, you can exist and have your life, have your
and not see one black person.
And not see one black person.
Right.
That's answer enough.
Yeah.
Right.
That's answer enough. You can go to work, you can grow up, you can get married, go to school, have a job, go have your leisure time, and not see one black person.
Bro, and you know what? The crazy thing on the other side of that spectrum. So
Man, hold up. We're not even talking about rich people.
No, we not, because that's a whole different.
Yeah, we're not talking about
rich people. Different. We're talking about just regular, everyday 9 to 5 people.
Yep.
My brother shared a video of the electric company, right? And that's an old children's PBS Public Children's Network, a television show that ran from 1971 to 1977.
They're gonna bring you to power.
He's ass. So, as I watched the clip that he shared, the intro clip, you saw people from all different nationalities. And mind you, this is during the 70s, especially the early 1971. You wasn't finding that hardly anywhere in the country unless you were talking about like the edges of the country, right? Yeah. And on TV, you really didn't see a whole bunch of other people other than the dominant demographic, right?
Correct.
I grew up not really seeing, except for on TV, kids of various different nationalities, Asian kids, Latin kids, and I didn't really see white kids unless we went to, like say we went outside the neighborhood around the holiday season. There was a Toys R Us that was up there at Catonsville. At that time, Catonsville was mostly white. We would go, but that's when I would see white kids. They didn't go to my schools. I didn't go to their school. It was none of that, right? None of that. Those shows now, because of the climate now, because of the way the narrative has been framed now, if people saw those shows now, they would say, oh, they're trying to be woke. This shit was happening in 1971. And it was a good thing that it did happen because I got a chance to see other people's experiences, cultures, even if it was just on fucking TV.
Yep.
But because of this piss poor, low budget politics that exists now in this country, lowest common denominator, shitty, no facts. If they on this side of the equation, they're going to believe it because the person that said is on that side of the equation. If they on that side of the equation, they're going to believe it because the person that said is on that type of shitty politics that has no facts that you can't like really look at and examine. Yeah. They would look at that as a bad thing. And they would say that, that's being woke. No, that's exposing those of us who wouldn't have otherwise had a chance to even get to know anybody else outside of our own demographic community. Yeah. That shows you just how very low this place has gotten. And mind you, we're talking about the 70s. This is just a year or two from the 60s that was crazy over here.
Thanks.
Crazy over here.
Oh, thanks.
You know what I'm saying? That's how low this shit is. And I'm going to tell you what, I will guarantee you this. The people that lived in those times, I'm talking the times when the shit was it should have been undeniable. Yeah. There were people during that time that said, no, it ain't. They're exaggerating. I will guarantee you that 20 years from now or 30 years from now, if this place is still a place, right? Yeah. There are going to be people looking back at a lot of this shit going, God damn. And if any of us is still here, we're going to be able to tell them, no, it was people back then that was denying it too. Yeah.
Facts.
That's how it works.
All facts. All right. Niggas. So I had left some stuff out last week because we had so many topics, and my work portion was so fucking long last week that we were up against time. So I didn't get into the reason why I took off a day last week. Chrissy was already off that day, and we had originally made a plan to reorganize this room. We had the day and everything.
Right.
That day came, neither one of us felt like it. And we stayed in bed watching TV instead.
Lazy bums, but I'm not mad at you.
Hey,
no,
listen.
I'm not mad at you because
He's rubbing off on me.
Nah,
This is
nigga.
fault.
I mean, phrasing, but also,
I mean,
Shut the hell up.
but also, like, I'm not mad at y'all because early on, me and my wife, when she would come to Baltimore and spend the weekend at my apartment and stuff, we would have them lazy Sundays. Lazy Sundays. I would come up with Laurel and spend time with her and shit. Lazy Sunday, B. You watch TV.
That's how it goes sometimes.
That's how it is.
Fast forward a little bit. We were talking about my bed. I had a bent bed frame, and because of that, my bed leaned to the left.
It was on some Michael Jackson smooth criminal shit.
It never fell. Never fell. But it was leaning. This was one of them old bed frames, like the iron ones, the brown iron. So potential issues could have come.
The one if you bang your foot against a piece of it,
nigga.
you want to throw your whole leg away.
Oh, just throw the whole
Well, I'm still experiencing that.
Yeah, she's still fucking her.
Oh, damn.
But so potential issues could have absolutely come from me trying to fix it, either breaking it by mistake or whatever the case may be. So there was no point in me trying to fix it.
User error.
Yeah, fuck that. So the plan was for me to get a new one. But some sweet, loving, ambitious, impatient person decided to take it upon herself to start shopping for bed frames.
Herself?
Yeah. But before...
I don't know.
But before she pulled the trigger, she checked in with me
to
make sure she wasn't overstepping. And we agreed on a bid, and with that, she declared that we might as well clean and reorganize the
some
room.
declaring going on.
Oh yeah, she just be telling me shit like.
Please don't listen to none of this.
It's what happened. That's not what happened. Hold up, have I lied?
Damn.
All right.
Damn.
Now. This is a project I've mentioned before on here, but the combination of my ADHD and me being lazy and the fact that I live alone, equal messiness.
That's a
just
fact.
is what it is.
That's a fact.
Now we're not talking about leftover cereal bowls with milk in it and pizza boxes with crust and we ain't talking about no shit like that.
I need to see some evidence of that. But go ahead.
No, listen, we ain't talking about no shit like that. But like the vast majority of it that was trash was like empty, crushed empty, like these. Because for some reason I just leave them all over the place. It just is what it is.
No, I know what the reason was. You were single for a lot of years.
No, facts.
That's the man cave type.
Yo, 1,000%.
Yo, my shit was the same way, dude. My shit was the same way.
So, the second most prominent thing was clothing. But let's be clear, it was still a project.
Yes.
And I wasn't saying all that to say that it wasn't work.
Right.
It was still work. Now, it actually didn't take as long as I expected it to, but putting the bed together, that took the longest because, and I don't even, honestly, looking back, I don't really understand why. It's like when we finished cleaning, I asked her what time it was, and she told me, and I was like, oh, that was fast. When I finished putting bed together, I asked her what time it was, and I'm like, shit.
Bro, I completely relate. Like, my wife will insist of me putting together stuff, and I hate it because the instructions are usually trash.
I mean,
and also, I'm an old man now, so I don't have a workbench. So for a long time, I am sitting on the floor trying to. I'm sore as a motherfucker when it's over. So what I started doing is we have these long 6-foot vendors tables, right?
Yeah.
I started taking those tables, putting it outside in the backyard, grab the shit, fix it right there, and the stuff gets put together quicker, and I'm not all cramped up and shit from having to sit in an awkward position moving shit.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But when wintertime comes, I ain't gonna be able to do that. So.
Well, no, I mean, truly. Next, last week I didn't get into the reason why I needed batteries. I shot my mother's No, nigga. I shot Marcus's mother's surprise birthday party.
Oh, you said okay, gotcha.
Shut up, nigga.
Shot Marcus's mother.
Shut up. More on that part of it later. First, let me get this out the way. Marcus is a terrible planner.
Damn. Hold up.
He shot.
I don't believe you. Let me tell you why I don't believe you. Because he's going to be planning our trips from now on. So clearly you.
Listen. He might, but nigga.
Yeah, no.
So he's a terrible planner. He shot himself in the foot multiple times with this.
You plan things wrong.
Yo, the party turned out just fine.
Yeah.
If I had to rate the planning, I'd probably give him like a 3 out of 10.
But the result, though.
If I had to rate the party, I'd probably give it a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. You know?
Results do matter.
And all that together equals 10.
Well, I mean, 2 things can be true. His planning was truly awful. Like, his projected scope of the party was
damn.
The amount of money he planned on and ended up spending was ridiculous. The venue was weirdly located, relatively. There wasn't really a dance floor. The theme didn't make any sense. And the time didn't make any sense.
Wait a minute. What? Hold up. Go back.
Go ask any question you want.
So what about the theme didn't make sense?
It was beach, but it was denim.
And bling.
Now, I don't know about you, but in my 35 years, I've been international beaches, local beaches.
Because you're international SVP.
Hey, listen, it is what it is. I ain't too many times seen nobody wearing no denim.
Nah, I haven't really seen
on
that.
A beach.
I haven't really seen that as well.
I haven't often seen that combination of things.
I haven't seen that. Can't really comment. I've never seen that. So.
Listen.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was beach because Marcus told me about it. He's like, hey, come to the party. I said, hey, what should I wear? It's denim and bling. Cool. Then I look at the invitation. I'm like, beach? Denim, bling? No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go together. But the reason this all ended up being okay is also a part of why his planning was so horrid. His mother enjoyed herself thoroughly. Okay. That's all that mattered.
All that really matters.
Yeah. He could have spent 3/4 of the money, probably less, that he spent, and ended up with a more convenient location.
Right.
And she would have been just as happy.
Right. That's facts.
As far as shooting, I did not deliver my A game. I might have been at a C+.
Let me ask you this.
For what?
When was the last time you did?
Nigga, that's a part of it.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a part of it. Another thing is, there was no direction at all from him. See, normally whenever I have any type of paid shoot, I didn't charge him, but I still count this as
a paid shoot, right?
The person who was paying me has a list of shots or moments that they want me.
These are must-have shots, right?
Right. I got none of that. Also, generally, when I get to the place early, when I'm doing a shoot, everything is finished being set up.
Right.
Nope, not at all. And of course, on top of that, Marcus was late. Lastly, the people at the party were doing that thing that people do where they disregard the fact that there is a professional photographer with an actual camera in the event, and they clog the big photo opportunities with their fucking camera phones.
Bro, I hate it.
I'm not about to fuss with people that is the host's job to make sure that the photographer is able to get those shots.
Yeah. You know, when we did that one party for your family cousins, we didn't really go through that as much.
No.
It was a pretty dope ass. We got some dope ass pictures. Like,
the host is supposed to take care of that type of thing. I literally had to pull him aside at one point and tell him, hey, I need a shot of her alone. I need a shot of her with you. I need a shot with her, you, and your sister,
right,
etc. Even then, when we went to go do those shots, there were people. Literally. Not like, all right, so I'll give you a different example first. It's a surprise party. When she comes in, surprise, blah, blah. That's understandable. I still don't like it.
Yeah, but it's
I
understandable.
get that.
Right.
That makes sense. No, in this scenario, I literally, Marcus walked over to me to let me know he was ready. Mm-hmm. We got up, we walked, we found her, we grabbed her, we moved her to where we wanted her to be.
Right.
We put them next to each other.
Right.
I raised my camera, and two people step in front of me.
Oh my, bro, I'd have lost my mind.
It was so bad. It was so bad that I had to ask James, because I had him film or shoot Gina and Lace's birthday party a couple years ago. So I had to ask him. I was like, bro, was this like this when I did that? He was like, no. And I was like, okay, I just wanted to make sure, because, you know, perspective changes.
Yeah, no, it was not like that. And when they jumped in front of me, I simply made eye contact with Marcus and pointed at them.
Yes.
Because I'm not weak. And he ended up getting them out of the way. All right, next.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's only like 30 pictures. Because
did you get some good ones though? You just didn't get the
volume of good
ones.
I got a couple good ones. Yeah. All right, now I got to complain about UPS. So I talked about it on here. My goddaughter was asking me for a phone and shit. I ordered her phone.
Yes.
That's funny. I ordered her phone. She wanted an iPhone. And because they are notorious for the screen shattering, I bought her an out-of-box case, and I bought her the glass screen protectors. For some reason, they ship separately. That's cool, because it was important, right? But it wasn't a life or death type of rush thing.
No, I feel.
Turns out that even though they were shipped separately, I'm getting notifications that they're both arriving on the same day. All right, bonus. Cool.
Keep going, I can still hear you.
I'm in my apartment for lunch. After I'm there for like 40 minutes, I get a notification saying that my package could not be delivered and it would be held at a UPS facility. About 5 minutes later, I get a notification from UPS. If this is your delivery driver, I will be arriving soon. Please make sure your pets are put away, that default thing that they send you.
Right.
A little bit later, I go back to work. I open my apartment door. There's the case and the screen protector on the floor. All right, cool. I put that in the house. I go to leave. On the main door, I see a notice from UPS. The notice says that the package needs to be signed for, and they tried to deliver it, but since they couldn't, it's going to a UPS facility. This is obviously a lie. They made zero attempt to actually get inside. I did not get a chat from that driver. He did not ring the buzzer. He did not knock on my apartment door. He walked up to the main door and simply left this notice. All right, fine. It is what it is. Nothing I can do about it at this point. After I get off, I wait till like 6. I drive to the facility. I go in. I hand the lady my notice. She looks at it. She searches the computer. She says, oh, it's at Advanced Auto Parts. Advanced Auto Parts? She said, yeah. She gives me the address. She gives me the store hours. She was very nice. She was very helpful. She says, since it was delivered today, you have to wait until tomorrow to pick it up. Nigga, tomorrow? Like,
right.
Why? So I couldn't take it out on her. It wasn't her fault. So I just said, okay. Now, anybody who's listening who knows me, I am patient. I would say I'm more patient than most of the people I deal with on a daily basis, but I'm only patient under normal and logical circumstances. Once shit gets stupid, all of my patience evaporates. That was Friday. Saturday, after the show, I set the stuff up in motion to upload the podcast to the podcast streets, and then I went to the Advanced Auto Parts. I showed them my slip. I give them my ID. The dude goes and looks. A little bit later, the dude comes back. He clarifies my name, which I don't fucking understand because you have my ID.
You have my ID, right.
Then he clarifies my address, which makes a bit more sense because the address that's on my license is not my actual address. Right. But still doesn't make complete sense because the address is on the fucking notice that I just handed you.
Yikes.
He goes to the bank again. He comes back again, empty-handed. He asks another guy who works there. That guy puts the information from the slip into the computer. He's like, okay, your package isn't here yet. It still says it's en route. Mind you, Friday,
I don't get it.
they said that it was at Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah,
Right.
how is
It
it
was
still
going to
en
be
route,
sent
yo? That
to
don't make sense, bro.
Advanced Auto Parts. No, it's at Advanced Auto Parts.
That don't make
when
sense.
I got there Saturday, it was 3 o'clock because it was after the show. It was 3 o'clock p.m. How the fuck did you not get my shit there?
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
Yeah, no.
I didn't go Sunday. Monday, I was on that side of town for work, and I was finally able to pick it up. I got the plan for the phone Wednesday. I went to activate it. Well, I couldn't activate it from my phone. Understandable. Understandable. But it would have been nice. It would have been nice if I could have just activated that phone from my phone. But whatever.
What it
Yeah, nigga. But this meant I had to connect the iPhone to my Wi-Fi. Easy. I went to download the app. Can't download from the App Store without being signed into an Apple ID. Okay.
Bro.
But this means that I have to create a new one because I couldn't remember the passwords to mine off the top. And I didn't want to put any of mine on her phone anyway because I fuck around and look up and my account is in the negative.
Facts.
So I did that, got it activated. I text her mother's phone from the new phone. She says, "Who is this?" I say, "Your daughter's new number." She again says, "Who is this?" Ma'am, you're aware that I'm buying this phone. Like, what do we... I call from the new phone. No answer. I call from my phone. No answer. Y'all know what I'm not going to do?
What's that?
Badger somebody to get on the phone call with me.
Nah, that's facts.
Yeah, that's out
facts.
the window.
That's
so,
facts.
I hung up and we started watching TV, and I'm like, she'll call back eventually. She did. Just as spoiled as ever. She dropped such gems during this conversation as, you know, since you are technically one of my legal guardians, you should come get me tomorrow. And we should just drop around for hours.
Oh man.
She another one of her greatest hits was, "Do you still live with Aunt Tony? You should move back." I said no. You should move back in with her.
That's ass. That is so ass.
Why would I move back in with my
Yeah,
mom?
like why?
Another one. You know, on my birthday, I'll be half of 30.
That was the best.
I'm like, ma'am. Then she proceeded to do a bunch of math, adding to that number, until I told her to get to the point. And she told me she was trying to see how much money I would give her for her birthday.
Just such a 15-year-old.
This is
If she flipped 15, it was 51.
Right.
And then there was some other
start
math.
adding some other shit.
She's like, wait, but how old are you? So if I flip that, I'm like, yo.
This is even though out of her own mouth, the phone is her birthday gift. I didn't say that to her. She said that to me.
Right.
And since I never explicitly said no to her about any of this stuff, both her mother and Chrissy sitting there talking about, "Oh, you a sucker." She stopped at $100. I'm not sending her no goddamn $100. That's not what's going to happen. After I just bought her a phone and 3 months of fucking no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll send her something, but I'm not gonna send her no goddamn $100. Like what? So
crazy.
Then talk about being extra. So I take her phone. Her mother and her grandmother are sitting on the porch. Her mother opens up the door, yells, "Your godfather here." She comes out. One of her brothers comes out. Her stepfather comes out. I hug my aunt first. I hug her brother. I hug her. I hug her stepfather. I hug her mother. I go to sit down. She yells, "You didn't hug me." Her mother and I both say at the same time, like, yes, I did. Like, what? She says, this is a fucking teenager for you. "You didn't hug me. You hugged my pimple."
Oh my goodness.
So I had to get up and give her another hug. She gets the phone. She's ecstatic. She goes back in the house because she's doing homework. I'm outside with her mother and her grandmother.
Right.
She comes out a little bit later asking for a password to the Apple ID because she's setting the phone up. So it's something that's unique to her, the password. It's not this, but for example, if you use like your street that you live on and then your birth date for your password. It's something that unique to her.
Right.
So I'm talking super easy for her to remember. So I asked her if she'll remember it or if she needs to write it down. She said she'll remember. I said, okay. So I start spelling it out to her because, of course, it has letters and numbers and capital and lowercase. So I start spelling it out to her. After I finished, she said, "Can you just say it?" I just gave her a blank look, like, because again, this is something that is 100% unique and familiar to her.
Right.
After a second, she like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, So she goes back inside. About 5 minutes later, my phone vibrates. 2 minutes later, phone vibrates again. 3 minutes later, phone vibrates again. I finally look at my phone. She's trying to do something with the setup of the phone, and it's sending a code. But instead of her coming outside, she keeps just sending a new one. I guess she assumed that it was supposed to be sent to her phone and not mine. So I say that out loud. Her mother opens the door. I tell her, "Come here." I ask her why she keeps sending new codes instead of just asking me. So I give her the latest code. She goes back in the house. It expired or something like that. She comes back with the phone. And we got that straightened out. I give her the code.
Right.
I'm guessing she's going through her profile at this point because she's still standing outside now. I guess she's going through her profile and she says, "I'm not old." I'm like, "Yo, what are you talking about?" She says, "It has my right birth month and day, but the year says 1970. I say, "Yes, that's just because you aren't grown yet. I didn't want to have to deal with any potential restrictions when I was setting it up.
Right.
So I didn't put your actual birth year because you're not an adult. You're not, you would have had some type of restriction. I'm trying to set this up." "Oh, okay. Why you ain't put 2002? "Ma'am, why does it matter?
Yeah.
You're not,
Why
you're not
indeed?
actually 21.
Right.
So why does, okay. Some more gems that she dropped. "You got gray hair. You can't blame those on me." How old are you? How old are you? "I'm 36. "Oh, you're half of Mama's age." Now, so all of her brothers and sisters and her cousins in her generation call their grandmother Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'm not 36 yet. But, bruh, my aunt is not 72.
Yeah.
Even if I would have said my actual age, my aunt's not 70.
Right.
She got some years to go before she hits 70. My aunt is also sitting right there when she says this. She always got hit like 3-4 times by her mother. Just during that whole 2 hours that I was there. Teenagers. I get up to leave. I start giving out hugs, starting from the farthest person from me. Here she goes. "Why you hug me first?" Then after I gave her goodbye hug, number 1, "Oh, you hugged my pimple again."
Oh, jeez.
So I had to give her
there will be a day
She got you wrapped around her finger.
where you guys are going to all laugh at this when she's an adult.
Oh, facts.
But right now,
Nigga.
this is annoying.
Bruh!
This is so annoying.
I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing?
Oh, my goodness.
Moving to, actually, it's not really the goddamn Justin EP streaming.
That is streaming.
Available
It is
on
available.
Bandcamp. Power still out here streaming.
Shout out to
Never Get Me
Helsinki, Finland. Appreciate
I
you
mean,
guys.
it is what it is. They'll never get me down. Still out here streaming. Next song, the promo, probably today or tomorrow, sometime early in the week. The promo for the next song will be out. Again, the TikTok that's launched. Look TikTok for the podcast. Username Black Culture Geeks. All one word. I seen a couple of y'all over there so far. I appreciate y'all. The rest of y'all, what the fuck y'all doing? Where y'all at? I don't understand. I don't get it.
We need y'all to show up. We need y'all to
talked
show
about
up for that.
this. We talked about this.
We had this
And-
conversation.
And by your silence, you that was supposed to be a yes on your end.
Yeah, we take all silence as yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, we take all silence as the answer that we want.
Right. Because
so-
if it meant something different, you would have said it.
Yeah, because like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you say the opposite?
Yeah, that's acknowledgement. That's silent
Yeah,
enough. Like,
exactly.
oh yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So you didn't say it.
You didn't say it, so I was thinking like you would be there, but I only saw like 2 of y'all.
What's understood doesn't need to be said. So
That's what I thought, but clearly they don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine. It's fine.
Thanks, Ken.
So y'all know what time it is. It's time for M-I-D-S-O.
asshole.
All right. This first one. Am I the asshole for telling one of my daughter's classmates' moms to fuck off about what I put in my daughter's lunch?
As long as you ain't putting arsenic in it, sure.
All right.
Yikes.
So they start off by saying none of the names in this story are real, which is generally to be assumed. Like,
Yeah. We generally
for some context, before the story, I, 38 female, cook Asian foods regularly for dinner, and for my daughter, Lily's 7 female, lunches at school. This is because my family enjoy these foods. I like to cook these foods, and my mom cooked a bunch of these foods growing up since she's half Japanese. Oftentimes, I'll either give my daughter some leftovers from last night's dinner, plus a fruit or veggie and a snack. Or I'll make her a quick little bento box or some other thing really quickly. So after school one day, my daughter wanted to play on the playground for a bit before we went home. I said she could play for a few minutes, and she ran off to play. I was waiting next to this other parent, who we'll call Deborah. Wow, that's funny. While I was waiting, Deborah came up to me. She says, "Are you Lily's mother?" I said, "Yeah, I am. Why?" Deborah says, "Well, your daughter's lunches have been bothering my son, and I would like to ask you to pack something else." I said, "What? How are they bothering him?" She then proceeded to start talking about how her son was complaining about my daughter's lunches smelling terrible and that he thought it was disgusting. She also said her son didn't eat most of his lunch because he was so grossed out. Me, okay, I understand your son doesn't like the smell, but can't he just sit somewhere else? Deborah, are you kidding me? My son shouldn't have to put up with whatever crap you make your daughter bring to this school. It's disgusting. And then she started making more vaguely racist complaints, but I was fed up at this point. I said, "Listen, I understand your son might not like my daughter's food, but he can very easily just not sit next to her. I'm not changing what's in my daughter's lunches because you and your kid don't want to exist near Asian food. Fuck off."
Woo.
She angrily stormed off with her kid then, and my daughter finished playing soon after, so we went home. I talked to my husband about it, and he said that maybe I shouldn't have told her to fuck off to avoid her bothering us in the future. Am I the asshole? Real quick,
I guess I'm just rude.
before you say anything, this comment says, "Fuck off" was the nicest thing you could have said to her, not the asshole.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not the asshole either. Maybe because I don't be liking when people. It's like I react poorly to shit like that. I'm not gonna lie. So
Not the asshole.
I just don't. I gotta see if I just gotta see if somebody says.
Because there was a way that she could have had that conversation with her son without approaching that parent.
Right.
She could have talked to her son and informed him about cultural differences, competence, and all that. And it could have been a learning moment for her son. But instead, she decided to go fuck around and she found out.
It's the cool thing these days to be the worst possible human you can be.
Mhm.
They've made some sort of a virtue out of being a jerk off, a douche nozzle. Like they literally, like, somebody asks you, "Hey, I prefer to be called this." Okay. Nope. That goes. I'm not.
Right.
This is where we are as a culture right now, and it fucking sucks. Like, these people really think that they are doing some sort of giant societal favor by being disagreeable apes for stuff that doesn't matter. like just stuff that this doesn't matter. Like it doesn't hurt you to be polite. It doesn't hurt you
At
to be
all.
accepting. It doesn't hurt you to be inclusive. But it's this thing now where these people really believe they're doing some great political movement to be a fucking asshole to people for no reason. And if it continues going down that road, you're going to see discourse over here get worse and worse and worse and worse. And eventually, when people can't talk to each other or can't exist with each other like that, violence always comes out of that because that's what apes are.
Facts.
It's crazy.
You're the asshole. Though I frequently use the word myself, it was not necessary to convey the message. Now you are the foul-mouthed mother of an innocent child rather than the classy person you could have been.
Yo, shut the fuck up with your respectability bullshit.
Right.
I'm trying to hear that.
It's not like she came out the gate with that. Like,
she matched energy.
Yeah.
She matched energy. Like
people get real surprised when you start matching energy.
Mm-hmm. People have this sense of entitlement
right.
that they can talk to people any old kind of way and not get the result. You're going to get exactly what you're looking for fucking with me. You get exactly what you're looking for.
This may or may before I get to what I was about to read, you're the asshole, half Korean here, and you are dooming your kid to be bullied. Taking smelly food to class is never okay, regardless of the ethnicity.
They don't think it's smelly.
Food. Let me stress this. We don't notice the smell since it's all around us all the time. Like, if your kid was the smelly kid at school, would you change up the washing routine at home, or would you just say that's our culture? Fuck no,
I think this is
make
dumb.
sure they smell good for school. Somebody said, oh, so she should cater to other cultures and express her own? What a moronic take. By the way, she's Japanese, not Korean.
First of all, this is stupid. For the simple fact is, they're saying this is smelly food. To the people that eat that food, it's not smelly.
Correct.
That part.
So what the fuck are you talking about?
And it would have been different if her daughter came to her and said, "Hey, Ma, this is what's going on at school," and wanted to change it, and they had a conversation amongst themselves at home and came to some kind of agreement. But this has nothing to do with the daughter. Don't feel that kind of way. That was on him, on the little boy.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Before I say this, I want to express that I am joking.
Your ass.
It's very clear.
Your ass.
Your bitch ass son ain't had the balls to tell her that the shit stunk. He ran home and told his mommy.
Your punk ass son. I'm not joking. Your punk ass son, instead of saying something to her, he went home and told his mommy, stuff don't be smelling right.
Right.
Your punk ass son.
Or instead of moving to a different seat.
Or to a different seat. Your punk ass son who's going to be fresh out of a bully's locker in a couple of months. Did that? Fuck out of here.
You're the asshole for telling her to fuck off, but I totally understand and might have done the same thing myself. It potentially undermines a long-term relationship that could impact your daughter. My son is half Asian. His mother is Japanese. My son was teased at school because his mother made him some sushi rolls for lunch. I think it was third grade, and the girls did that cascading ew thing. That night at dinner, he broke into tears when he told us he didn't want Japanese food for lunch anymore. His mother said she'd handled it. The next week, she arranged to go into class and teach the kids how to make sushi rolls. The teacher said the kids loved it. What's more, several of the kids told their parents they wanted to eat sushi. I was thanked by a parent that was excited to finally have sushi back in the takeout rotation.
We got to stop.
His mother said this. Sushi rolls for the girls that... His mother made some sushi rolls for the girls that expressed interest, and when my son handed them out, they were received enthusiastically. Sushi went from being gross to treasure in his class, and my son stopped being embarrassed about being Japanese. The class learned a thing or two. Two, I'm no longer married to his mother, but that continues to impress me to this day.
No, listen to me. We got to stop with this idea that the people that are being discriminated against have to also take the bad shit and then do the labor. Correct. We gotta stop that shit. So now the mother's got to take time out of whatever her schedule is to go up there and do a whole class on how to on this food,
a whole sushi presentation.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here! Like no, it's too much. Because at a certain point, my grandfather and my grandmother and them, they had to do a certain amount of labor, right, and deal with the discrimination.
Yeah.
If you're telling me, my grandfather was born in 1913. If you're telling me that in 2023, I still have to do the exact same type of labor that he did, then I will submit to you that nothing's changed.
Correct. I'm not doing that shit. I'm sorry.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. All right, I'm not doing that shit. All right, am I the asshole? I'm getting married in a year and have set an age limit of 21 and over at our wedding, but my family are asking me to budge on this decision. Am I the asshole? Basically,
I need more details.
Well, I think I'm about to give you. That was the headline.
That was too long.
It was a long headline. I'll give you that. It was absolutely a long headline. Basically, we're getting married and have said that we want no children, kids of friends, kids of family, kids of relations, etc. And the amount of backlash we have received, despite us paying for the wedding, is ridiculous.
Wait a minute, hold on. Say that first part again. Now they're saying they're having the wedding.
They don't want no kids there.
They don't want no kids. Okay.
Right. Yeah. My brother has two loud, and this is in parentheses and all capital.
Oh shit!
Loud children. Oh, and has never been favorable of our relationship, but is absolutely adamant that his kids should be at the wedding. We have said over and over again that anyone, despite relation, who is under the age of 21 cannot attend the ceremony or, as it were, the big day. However, we are now receiving an influx of messages 18 months before the wedding from folk who can't sort childcare, etc. First of all, I'm sorry. I don't have details yet, and I might be speaking out of turn. Mm-hmm. The wedding is a year and a half away. Why are you complaining about childcare at this point? I'm so confused. Anyway, my partner and I don't want children. Are big fans, and frankly, don't want to waste money on extra tiny guests, but our families don't get it. Am I/are we the asshole? Now, there's an edit here. We're both 30. And most of it's a long ass edit. We're both 30, and most of our friends, bar a few, don't have and will not be having children. Second edit. Thanks to everyone for their, quite frankly, caustic you're the asshole reactions. I can't wait to read those. To a query related to the wedding my fiance and I are having 18 months time. I have noticed a few things in the comments that appear to have wound people up, which I'd like to address here. Number one, we chose the reception location as it was an adult-only venue, which is what we had always wanted for our wedding. The venue itself has set the 21 plus policy, which we are quite happy to go with, as like I've said several times, we do not want children at the wedding, whether they be nieces, nephews, cousins, or children of friends. To ease the pain of any keyboard warriors, we have specifically been looking at 18 plus venues to avoid this issue with relations, which hasn't worked, as people are still asking if we'll change our mind. We won't. Number two, we are not having the after party at Pop World. This was a joke. The venue is a 21 plus location, which I've said over and over again. Not once have I said that 18-year-olds aren't adults. Unfortunately, they just won't be able to come. And again, no one is not being invited due to their age except for their children.
Hey, have you ever raised an 18-year-old? Come back to me for those that
that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. Again,
that's my point.
We do not have teenager relatives, and the rest of our family or friends are well over 21. For our friends who do have children, we have given them 18 months notice to source and secure childcare. However, what I think also needs to be made clear is this. Those friends with children will be able to sort childcare with their own parents, another family member, as the parents of our friends who we don't know aren't invited because we're not friends with them. And sorry, if you have a newborn, you'll be missed, but it's a child-free wedding. Number four, there's no random 20-year-old family member that neither of us are trying to not have in attendance at the wedding.
Right.
Almost all of our close relatives and friends, etc., are well over the age of 21. Number five, if people do not want to come based on the rules set by both the venue and ourselves, then that is, of course, absolutely fine. We won't be offended or upset and would just do something else with them. What the issue is, which seems to have escaped all the "you're the asshole" voters, is that we want to have the day that we would like. To be continually pressured to reassess the choices we have made is rude. If we said the menu was all fish and people were allergic to it, we'd accommodate that as part of the cost. But this is not the same for children and the additional costs that would be wasted on we brains. However, Comments below about us paying more to allow those with kids to attend with their children, despite us saying it's an adult-only wedding and the venue is 21 plus. Is a 21 plus only place seems counterintuitive to what I've asked. 6, I appreciate people love going to weddings with kids. We don't. And as I've said time and time again, the majority of the people in attendance either don't have children or are well above the age of 21. Finally, for the individuals who have DM'd me calling me a dick, an asshole, and a cunt without having any prior knowledge of our
That's
situation,
a lot of different body parts.
bruh,
Yeah.
other than a Reddit post, are truly the real fucking assholes. As with many of the people voting not the asshole, I will follow your advice and just do what we want. Sorry to those who feel offended that we don't see children in our future and therefore don't wish to have them at our wedding. I really got to read these comments now. I feel sorry for you and hope you have a wonderful time judging others. All right, I got to get to these comments because, nigga, what the fuck?
First of all, I'm just going to say to all the people, like, preemptively, before you even read the comments, fuck you and your kids. They said what they said.
They said what
It's
they said,
their
bro.
wedding.
Like, I don't understand.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Wait. Okay. Comment 1. Just don't throw a fit if nobody wants to come. There's an enormous difference between babies and toddlers and young adults. If I were a parent, I'd be fine leaving a 3-year-old home. I'd find it very odd, however, to exclude any 18-year-old family member. In that case, I'd decline. I get the feeling that you don't care much for your family, so this probably makes no difference to you. You're the asshole.
Fuck them.
What? She literally said that most of this doesn't even apply. Right. Like, it doesn't apply to most of the family.
Right.
So
most of the family don't have little ass kids.
This is stupid. Not the asshole for wanting a child-free wedding. You're the asshole because you seem like an asshole.
What?
This is why I said, the best response to these motherfuckers is fuck you and your kids that you think you riding for right now. Fuck you.
And I bet you, these same people that are complaining, like her friends or whatever actual family are complaining, are not people she's even close to and just want to be at the wedding to be at the wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
You're the asshole for calling it a child-free wedding. It's really not. I get it. You're trying to make a joke. Ha, 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 because you're calling the OP
I know,
child.
yeah.
I get it. Okay.
So...
Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Let me see. There are kid-free weddings. Then there's this. You're the asshole. What?
I'm starting to really believe. I saw a meme the other day. This guy started a conversation under his thread about what is the most dangerous and worst invention that humans have come up with. And I saw everything but the internet. And I'm starting to really
you just can't get upset if people can't go because of your restrictions.
She didn't say she would be. They didn't say they'd be upset.
You don't have to invite them. You're the asshole for setting the limit as 21. 18 is old enough to be considered an adult.
Fuck you. Not at my wedding, it ain't. Go away.
Bruh, you're the asshole. 21 is ridiculous. If you don't want young children, fine. But 15 to 18 and up shouldn't be counted as children. They are youth.
I can have who I want at my wedding.
18 is an adult. It's your wedding. You get to set the rules, but it doesn't make it any less ridiculous. This child-free trend where it doesn't stop at child is wearisome.
Can I just say this too? I'm sick of hearing that.
Yo!
I am so sick. Bro,
these fuckers are wildin',
bro,
my guy.
There are 8 billion people on the planet. Nobody is suggesting that stop it. No more kids. And there are 8 billion people. You can suggest it. Let's say she was suggesting it. All you want. There's still 8 billion people. And it doesn't look like
not only are there 8 billion people, we just recently started being able to say that.
Facts.
The point being
they're growing.
And people keep having kids.
It's growing. There is like when you hear somebody say, "I don't want kids." The fact that look, I'm somebody with a kid, with kids. I don't get offended at that at all.
Yo,
what?
These dumbasses, like the other commenters said, you are very dislikable. You're the asshole. It isn't child-free. 17 to 20-year-olds normally can behave themselves at important events. If you said you wanted to not invite some random 18-year-old cousin who annoys you, then you wouldn't be bad.
Have them
at
your wedding.
You sound cryptic and unusual in your replies. I don't think you're saying everything. What is going on?
Are y'all paying for the wedding? Like, people that have all these opinions about a wedding that they're not dishing out 1 cent for. People do not understand. Right. People don't understand that you are paying per mouth to feed.
Facts.
If I do not want a certain amount of people, a certain
That's
demographic
right.
of people.
That's
It
That's
is
right.
right.
my wedding and my decision. If you have a problem with
Nigga.
it, you stay your ass home. Like
All of that.
Right.
like
Right.
what?
Right.
Um,
Go watch Martin and Gina's wedding on reruns.
Right.
Like, don't
Like
have to be in
what?
this one. Fuck out of
Okay,
here.
fine. They can come, but guess what? You're gonna pay me for their plate. You're about to pay me for any incidentals that they may cause. You about to let me send you a bill since you want them to come so bad that
nigga.
you could pay
Like,
for it.
this
Oh,
20-year-olds
Lord.
probably won't need childcare. On what planet is an 18-year-old a child? Yep, you're the asshole. Hopefully, you'll mainly get regrets and a nice card from the
18-year-olds,
close
children.
relatives
I don't
Yep.
know
of
what
young
you said.
adults you are deliberately slighting. You
18
can
year olds,
invite who
children.
you want, but everyone can stay home if they want.
The teen that's in the word. 18. I'm not trying to.
You're
She
not.
can have who she want at her wedding.
You're the asshole. Not for having a 21 plus wedding venue in a country where legal drinking age is 18 plus. That's just stupid.
So what?
But it's your wedding, so whatever, honestly. The reason you're the asshole is because you are deliberately misusing the definition of child free in an attempt to garnish blind support for your actions and choices, which
No,
are yours to make. You're just being
that's
pretentious.
absurd.
And then acting like a dick when people call you out on your childish behavior, which is
That's
ironic
absurd.
because based on your behavior, you shouldn't be allowed at your own venue. Aha, another you're a child joke.
That is absurd. And y'all have gotten into the habit of saying absurd shit loudly with your
For
chest
fun.
poked out. What the
You're the
fuck?
asshole, not
Looking
for setting a no
stupid.
child policy
Looking
at a
stupid
wedding,
as shit.
but for the point being 21. 18 is the recognized age of being an adult widely, and there is nothing about a 19-year-old.
But it
that is
ain't my
different
recognized
from a
age. How about
Right.
that?
So it's exclusionary just to be an asshole. If you wanted just no kids, then say no kids, not some janky strict age limit. If you are indeed from the UK, then you are double asshole because 21 has zero meaning in our culture. Why not 23, 26, 29? Absurd.
You're stupid. You sound dumb. You sound dumb, and y'all keep sounding dumb.
And didn't she say she picked a 21 and up venue? So
Yes.
even if you feel like
So it does
18 is
have
an
a
adult,
meaning.
it
Yeah.
has a meaning.
Because
Right.
clearly this venue feels like 21 is a good cutoff.
Sis says this is exactly why we haven't done a wedding. This kind of ish. It almost always feels like a party accommodating everyone other than the people that are getting
Bruh,
married.
listen.
That's true.
That's
what it is.
Let me shut up.
Listen, me and my we've talked. Me and wife have talked about these type of huge wedding things, and in every scenario, it's always there's no scenario where you don't do it your way. This is your day.
Correct.
I don't give a fuck. What? Listen, if you don't want them little bastards there,
That's it.
they won't be there.
That's the answer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
out of here.
I think there's been one scenario when I was younger where there was some type of I can't remember if it was a wedding or not, but it was like nobody under 18, and at the time I was under 18, and I was like, that's not fair. But
You were a kid, though.
again,
You were a kid, yeah.
right.
As an adult feeling like that is crazy. But any big party is just it's really not for the two people. Like it's for them plus everybody else.
Guess what? Listen to me clearly. My darling.
It's very rare that it's
I
for
don't
the
give a
two
fuck.
people.
I don't
Kid
give a
and
fuck
play.
what people do.
Kid and play say they're gonna do it their way.
Listen.
As they should.
I don't give a fuck what everybody else do.
Do it your
If
way.
we have any type of big party for us,
You reserve the right, especially
It's
when you
for
paying
us.
the expense. Like you reserve the right to say who can come, who can't come. I don't want your little crotch fruit rolling around on the floor.
Exactly.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
you're the asshole. You're from the UK where people reach adulthood at 18. Your venue is 18 plus. It's not though.
That means that
you-
means nothing. Stop telling me about civil law when I'm telling you about my.
You frame this as child-free wedding, knowing that this is a U.S.-centric subreddit, then those assumptions don't actually apply to you.
Conspiracy
It's
theories.
It's very clear that there are specific people you want to exclude who are between 18 and 21, and you frame your post in a way to garner support from those.
This is a conspiracy theory.
Your country of residence. That's why you're the asshole here. This isn't about children at all. And
they did all of that.
Honest about why you.
It's her fucking day.
Spoken to them directly, you'd be less of a dick. Now let's extrapolate this, right? As Toon pointed out, this is kind of my thing. To what end, right? Because the argument that this person is making is that you have specific people that happen to be between the ages of 18 and 21 that you don't want at your wedding. Now, what is easier for me to do? Deal with that one person being upset,
right?
Or have this restriction and have all these people mad at me? Which one is easier? Which Occam's razor?
Right.
Which one is the simplest scenario?
Betty said, people complain about trans reading to children, but when an event is labeled adult only, they want to bring their kids. It's not going to be Paul Teletubbies on stage before.
And the same people, if it wasn't kid free, that would bring their kids would be the ones to complain when I start twerking on the dance floor. So, like, make it make sense. Which way are we going?
Yo, simply, you're the asshole. What's the problem with 14 to 20-year-olds coming?
Now we're getting lower. 14.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is.
I don't want them there.
I'm gonna give you details too. Like so that by the time I'm finished with this explanation here, there should be nobody still on that other dumb shit. I don't want them there.
Right.
That's very simple.
That's it.
You're the asshole. I was married and had a baby by the time I was 20. My husband is 7 years older than me.
That sounds like a personal
It would be strange. It would be strange that he would be able to go and I wouldn't.
Oh well.
Oh well. I guess it's strange. Strange days. What was you talking about? Call me Dr. Strange.
Another person. It seems like there are specific people you're trying to exclude. So exclude them specifically. Again, what's easier? If I wanted to exclude certain people, listen to me clearly. If I ever have any type of scenario, because these things pop up, where there's any type of event or even a trip, or whatever the case may be, where I know there are people, where I know there are people that I don't want there, guess what I'm going to do?
What you going to do?
I'm just not going to invite them. It's really that simple. Like, that's it. You aren't invited. I'm not.
Imagine you calling them and saying, they don't know nothing about this shit either. You say, "Hey, I'm planning a trip to Barbados," and they go, "Yeah, you're not invited."
Right. Or calling your 19-year-old friend that's not really your friend, but y'all friends by association. Right. Fuck with them like that, and being like, "Yo, so I'm about to get married."
Oh, dope.
But you got to be 21 to come.
What? But I'm only 19.
Right. Like,
I know. So basically, I'm telling you, I don't need you within 20 yards of this venue.
Right. That's just stupid.
People are dumb, y'all.
And this sums out this one sums up how this should have gone. For some reason, it didn't. Holy hell! All the judgment the OP is receiving. They don't want anyone under 21 at their wedding, and gave ample time to sort out childcare.
Yes,
they're not the asshole.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. I think the answer to who is the asshole are the people that's commenting right there.
The commenters, right?
Yeah, you guys are the assholes. What is wrong with you?
I'm so confused.
Well, that seems like a permanent state these days.
Bruh, you're the asshole. Saying no one under 13 is reasonable. Saying no one under 21 is not.
According to who?
Really choosing a venue where no one under 21 is allowed is a real asshole move. A wedding is a family affair. Oh,
fuck you.
A wedding is a family affair. Not wanting actual children is one thing, but teens and adults is another. What is going on?
No, this shit make no sense at all, bro.
Last week was the first time that I said that we had run into one of these that wasn't Reddit proof.
Right.
Because most of them have been Reddit proof as far as we've gone.
Right.
And last week we ran into one that wasn't. Mm-hmm. This one, what the fuck? I don't understand. Like, why you got so upset? Like, I don't get it.
Yo.
I mean, like, what the fuck? I has confusion.
Yeah.
I don't.
You know what would probably
You know
go
what it
up?
is?
What's that?
People are so used to doing things for other people and not for
That too.
themselves. They cannot fathom a situation where a
Where
person
somebody
is
does something
choosing
for themselves.
themselves.
I
Yeah.
promise you,
Mm-hmm.
I will not be a part of any.
I will. I refuse to be a part of any culture that tells me that I cannot decide what I want for me and mine. Like
Right.
I refuse to participate in that. I will make those decisions. You can all fuck off. If you are that offended that your little dirty, undisciplined, C average, 14-year-old. That's right, I said it. 14-year-old can't come to my wedding. That sounds like a personal problem.
Yep.
There's
An
nothing to do with
asshole
it.
would be, I'm only serving alcoholic drinks, but I know that there are people coming that don't drink. An
We don't
asshole
even.
would
We
be,
don't even have
I'm only
water.
going to have pork, and I know
Right.
people don't eat pork.
Right.
That's asshole.
Yes, that's asshole. That's asshole.
I'm
Yeah.
truly flabbergasted. That's it. That's it.
We would like, and on that note, we would like to thank all of you once again, showing up, showing out for the shenanigans of the Saturday morning cartoon. We want to thank my sister Chrissy showing up.
Of course.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. It's always funny. It's always fun. And it's good to have an alternative voice other than the shit that happens when it's just me and Jesse.
Yeah. Facts. All facts.
You know what I'm saying? People, please do not forget that there's always music.
Always.
There's always music.
Literally working on a song right now.
Literally. Like old music, new music, doesn't matter. Add it to your playlist. Have it playing in the background. Share it with others. We really appreciate your support. Once again, shout out to Helsinki, Finland. Okay. Also, if you have not, go subscribe to the
sis, wait, accommodate me.
Do not also forget to go check out my man Jaden Nerd channel.
Absolutely.
Go check out my man Super Sci Guys, Metas and Mutants.
Absolutely.
Go if you have not subscribed to the Majestic Comics YouTube channel. If it so suits you, go check out our Patreon. You know what I'm saying? And also go.
Oh, I forgot the dumbass of the week. Dumbass of the week is the U.S. military for asking fucking civilians to help them find a fighter jet.
Yeah, that's y'all bugging. Yeah. Y'all bugging for real. Y'all flat out bugging. And of course, you know, if you haven't already, go check out Majestic Comics YouTube channel, Patreon, and hit the notification on the Kickstarter notification just in case, so you will be known, or you will know when we go live, because that first 24 hours is a big deal for the Kickstarter.
Absolutely.
And having us inserted into that algorithm. So yeah, also shout out really fast to our man Adequate. I know we ain't seen him on the show for a little while, but when he wants to get some time, he will be back on the show.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And shout out once again to all of you.
Facts.
Like, this is fun, but it's made even better because you guys show up every
without question.
Yes. And make us laugh and all of that was good shit. You guys are just as entertaining to us as you think we may be to you.
1000%.
So for my man SPJ, for my sister Chrissy, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out.
Peace.